Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
Sounds like a deal.
yeah, yeah. Now, it's almost that time. Like it's almost cookout time, isn't it? Like you can see,
It
like,
is.
mm,
Yeah, yeah, Sketch this weekend
hmm
did a what did he cook? He did ribs and then he also did pork shoulder, I guess. Pulled pork all on the grill this weekend. It was a lot of, and then also hot dogs, and then we're also doing chicken. I don't know. It's like as soon as it hit 70, had to make all the things. Had to do it all in one weekend. So lots of grilling. Everything smells smoky in here too.
Oh
I
wow.
don't know how to get that out.
Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, that's great. So Sketch is a chef. Sketch is a good chef. I love it. I love that.
He is, yeah. Well, he
Nice.
did used to work on a mac and cheese food truck, so
Okay.
he knows his way around.
I love it. I love it. I love it. No, that's
Nice.
so cool. That's so cool. I mean, that time, and then obviously, the waiting is always can be agonizing, but it's always worth it in the end. I mean, so many great foods
Oh
coming
yeah.
out of that grill. I love it. Yeah.
Agreed. Agreed. Where are you? I never asked. Where are you located at?
I'm in Los Angeles. I'm in Los Angeles. So
Los Angeles.
yeah. So I would be
Nice.
connected fairly close to where Missy Alcazar is, where Carmela is, and Julie Clark.
Oh,
Yeah. So they're
cool.
all around here. So
Nice.
yeah.
Very nice. LA. So are you, I mean, I guess this is always the question everyone asks when when you're living in California. Are you a native to LA or did you move from elsewhere?
No, I am a native. I'm from a suburb called Oxnard, California. It's about an hour and a half away. So,
Oh,
um,
nice.
yeah.
Very cool.
So I am one of the rare people who are actually
The
from here.
rare from LA. Unicorns. I think that's how Shani Rose calls it, or God, I never pronounce her name right.
Oh yeah,
Shawnee.
Shani
Yeah,
Ru-
she's from LA, from LA.
Oh, that's
That's
great.
always something she mentions.
I still hear from Shani Rose on Instagram from time to time. It's really cool to see
Nice.
what she's up to. Yeah.
Yeah, she's been doing some cool stuff. She just did like a collaboration song with someone. I was like, dang, that sounds really good.
Yeah, yeah.
That's something I'd put on.
I like that. Yeah, absolutely. Um, but yeah, so many. That's actually one of the coolest things about Instagram is like you can always stay connected to people and find out what everybody's
Yes.
up to. So,
For better or for worse. Yes, you
yeah,
can.
that's true too. That's we've all seen it.
Nice.
Yeah, I did.
We've all seen it. Very cool.
I am looking forward to seeing some of the friends from your community jump into here. I know we'll have some guest
Yeah.
representation.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
posted on the Discord and then I
hmm
did my Twitch story.
Okay.
So I feel like that's where most of those people hang out anyway. So hopefully we'll see some people come out.
Yeah.
Um,
I do love all the friends in your channel. Like they come out
oh
here too
yeah.
sometimes. Like I've heard from Ludi and
Yeah.
Primo.
There's some there's some overlap for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%,
Yeah,
100%.
it's a good community. I feel like I lucked out with the people who hang out on there. It makes my life a lot easier
Oh yeah.
when it's fun to talk to people. I feel like this would be rough if I didn't like the people who are in my chat. But luckily most like 90% of streamers, probably more than that, all like the people in their chat and if not they boot them out, I guess.
Yeah, that's the
It's the
best
beauty
thing is
of
that you
it.
have the power to change things if it does
Yeah,
get bad. So it's kind of nice.
exactly.
Do you
And
wish?
that's why I feel like I've never really streamed anywhere else is I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to deal with not being able to have control over who can talk to me. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a drawback for sure.
Oh, for 1,000%. Yeah. And you're right.
Yeah.
Like it's different. It's always different on every platform. Like.
Yeah. Every platform has a different vibe. Have you
hmm
streamed on other platforms at
Yeah.
all?
I've been on YouTube and
Nice.
before doing Twitch, I did like the sports show on YouTube. It's a
Oh,
much smaller.
cool.
It was cool. It still is cool. I still do those shows once in a while, but the crowds are not as big as they are here. Like there's just a lot more
Really?
community here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been
I,
grand, and
and I wonder too if it's just because like Twitch is such like it was built for like a live streaming thing first, and I feel like it's hard for other platforms to like pivot into that when that's not what it was made for. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like I don't know. That's my theory, but I don't know.
No, it's a great question. And I thought that TikTok might actually be kind of the next thing in that area because TikTok
Right.
has so many people on it and there's so much engagement. And
Totally.
I'm kind of curious to see what our friends are doing on TikTok and um I love I mean it's an interesting idea. It's like it seems convenient. Like you're on it
Does.
anyway. So like I don't know if
Yeah.
you are, but I mean many people are, but
I am starting to be on it more. I did it like right at the beginning of the pandemic
mm-hmm.
and then I found Twitch and then I liked that so much more because I felt like it was so much less pressure than like I feel like it's hard when you record like a small snippet of yourself. And at that point TikTok like wasn't as much of a live streaming thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like it's a lot more stressful to do a video and then be like, and then it's on there forever. And no matter how much you grow and how much you improve or how much you wish you could change things, it's just there
Yeah.
forever. So like
Oh
I feel like
yeah.
that's so much more stressful.
I hear that because I know that people on TikTok sometimes people on TikTok are more demanding in the comments. I've seen that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They're a lot more nitpicky. Like
Yeah.
I've noticed like sometimes I feel like it's just more extreme. Like I feel like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they'll get comments and I'm like, wow, you sound just like no 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 and you're my new favorite whoever. And then yeah, or the other day like some guy commented like, I like your clip, but what camera are you shooting this on? Because the frames are off. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I downloaded this. I made this clip on a sketchy third-party program from my stream. Like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I have a good camera. I can't tell you what's going on.
I've never heard that before. That's crazy.
I know. Super nitpicky. I was like, dude, what? I mean, fair. I'll take any sort of suggestion, but I was like, what are you
I know that's great. That's just like
interesting take.
yeah, that's perfect. Um, and speaking of which, we have our good friend King in the. Not speaking of perfect, not speaking of nitpicky. I should be more specific. King has joined us in the chat. What's going on, King? It's good to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us, King. Good to see you. Shout out to King Dambreaker. Welcome in, my friend. Let's go ahead and start this off. I think
Yeah.
people are ready to do the thing. Let's go.
Let's do the thing.
Do the thing. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Hello, everybody. Thank you again for joining us here on the latest edition of The Sandwich Show. It is our weekly discussion, our weekly journey of getting to know people throughout Twitch and other platforms. And in this journey, we've gotten to know a lot of really cool musicians. And our latest guest is one in a series of really cool people who play music and share music on Twitch, and also in other places too. Let's go say hello to our guest of the evening, our good friend, singer-songwriter, Taryn Seattle. How's it going?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Going well going well at least as far as I'm concerned. And I think everyone else is vibing as well. Yeah, it's great to see you all, everybody. I mean, it's a good time. Now we've gotten to know each other a few times over the last few years. I mean, I've been on your stream plenty of times, and you've even
We
been
met at TwitchCon.
yeah. TwitchCon was boss. I remember meeting you at
That was
TwitchCon.
awesome.
Yeah, good times. I mean, you had to sit there. That was a great. What an honor that was.
That was so fun. That
Love
was
it.
such a good time.
Yeah. And do you remember how many people you met during that weekend? Was it surprising just how many people you knew that were there?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. Like, I feel like I didn't know anyone at all
Mm-hmm.
when I came into TwitchCon. I was like, I don't know anybody here. I don't know what I'm doing. And there's so much of Twitch because I'm part of the Twitch music side of things that I just don't know about. And I'm also not a gamer. So a lot of it was just really, I don't know what I'm doing here. But then I found my way to the little area next to the cabana stage, and then I saw all the people that I knew. Like I met Sita for the first time. That was like one of the first people that I met. Fern Tree, and just I don't know, just so many people that I finally knew, and it was kind of cool. Like this little small community of people that I would never have met otherwise outside of Twitch, and it was really cool.
Yeah, and it was for me too. It was my first. It was my first trip to TwitchCon as well, and it was like really amazing just to see like you in 3 dimensions, and everybody, and
Yeah.
C-Dub in 3 dimensions, and it is really cool to see. Um, and then we were getting to see other people perform, and like was that mesmerizing for you as well? Like just seeing like other people do it live, like in front of
Oh my
people.
God, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really cool.
Mhm.
And it was interesting to see like some of my favorite people I watched, like Megan Lenius was really, really, really good. And she played with that. I think she had a whole band with her. That was probably one of the coolest performances. I felt really inspired. I also felt really intimidated. Sashi too. Sashi killed it up there and was just super in it. And especially the people who live looped on stage, that to me is just a whole, that's something I don't think I won't say never, but I feel like I don't feel like I'd get to the point where I'd ever be confident doing that on
Mhm.
stage. And so watching that processing, seeing someone just build something like that on stage and just not even get thrown off by it, that's just so, oh my God, that was really cool. Very
Oh,
mesmerizing.
oh, no doubt about it. It's hard. I can't even imagine how they do it. Right? Like it's like it looks like
Oh
it's
yeah,
yeah. I mean, really impressive to see that in person. Yeah,
totally.
I love that. Um, but yeah, everybody who's in our chat, if you have we're really glad to hear from you. Feel free to share comments and do things in chat. We love to hear from you. We'll have our sandwich of the week coming up in just a few minutes, and much more to come. And that's hey, look who's here! What is up, Pinball Sorcerer? It's good to see you. Thank you for the
Ball
33 months. Let's go.
sorcerer.
Now you can see.
Hey,
Oh, I love it, fellow Seattleite in the chat. This is great.
fellow Seattleite.
Let's go. Let's go.
I
Taryn,
got to meet, I think I got to meet Pinball Sorcerer at a Willow Stevens show. That was pretty cool.
that yeah, a lot of people represented at that show. It was really cool. I saw you
Oh yeah.
there with Emily and Sarah and Pinball and Mike. I think was there too, and maybe Mop was
Yeah.
there. It's great, and yeah, it's really great to see. That was what I was gonna mention too. Like the Seattle Twitch music group is really cool. Like it's so
Yeah.
many talented people and so many people who've just kind of gotten to know each other over the like 3 or 4 years that we've been streaming together. It's really cool.
That's really cool. Yeah. One of the coolest things that happened because of the Twitch Seattle music scene is that and Natalie Page just moved away, which is super sad. But yeah, she was kind of the first people who had reached out to me from the Twitch Seattle music scene when I had moved here. And I remember it was like 2 months after I'd moved to Seattle back in 2021, and Natalie reached out to me and I was like, "Hey, I'm playing a show. It's gonna be at this super cool like this super cool venue, and there's going to be a bunch of other female singer songwriters from the area. You should come out." And so I was like, well, I got nothing going on and I have no friends here, so I'm going to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that show alone, I ended up meeting a bunch of other singer songwriters in the area, and then kind of picked their brain of, how did you guys get started? How did you guys get connected? And then they introduced me to the open mic community at like Connor Byrne and then several other venues, and that's kind of how I met everyone. But all of that kind of happened because Natalie decided to invite me out, and then it just kind of happened from there. And that's, I don't know, that's just super cool. Like it all kind of comes back to Twitch. I feel like with music stuff, like a lot of it does.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And Natalie, it has been a great friend to all of us. Natalie moved back east, and now I believe
Hmm.
she's back in New England. So
Yeah,
she's not gone from Twitch, but she is gone from Seattle, and that's kind of a bummer. I do agree. Like it was
that
like,
is kind of a bummer.
but I know how friendly she is. Like we also saw Natalie at TwitchCon 2022. Yeah, Pinball says we lost the Natalie Page. Yeah, I mean from as far as IRL, yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah, at
but
least in Seattle.
yep. And Pinball says I'm hoping to go make it to more music gigs over the summer. Got it, love it,
Nice.
love it. Yeah. King's already calling for a Taryn Con, and that's an interesting idea. That's a Taryn
Ooh.
convention. It'd be
A
fun.
ter- all 10 people who are gonna show up are gonna
I mean, 10 people would be a pretty solid
10
party.
people would be pretty solid crowd. It'd be a
Yeah,
pretty fun time.
absolutely, absolutely. Um, But yeah, it is really neat to see the doors that Twitch actually did open. And I think a lot of people are familiar with the story of how people found the platform. And but what's interesting in your case is that when you were starting out, you're originally from Idaho, which is actually
Yeah.
not that far from Seattle, but it's still not it was interesting for a while because I know your handle is Taryn Seattle and people probably
Oh
thought you were in
yeah.
Seattle then, but it's your middle name. So that was an
It
interesting
is.
interesting story.
It's a little, yeah, it was a little awkward. And the whole reason I went by Taryn Seattle on Twitch is I just didn't want I didn't want my first and last name to be associated with it because I was like, because at the time I was applying for new jobs too, and I was like, God, they find this online, like, what are they gonna think about me? Which now I'm like, it's whatever. It's should be a testament to how I can learn new things. But yeah, so I did it as my first and middle name rather than my first and last name, so people wouldn't find out, as I was sending in my resume that like, oh, this girl live streams because I didn't know what they were gonna assume about me if they found out about that. But yeah, it was really awkward explaining to people over and over, like, I'm not from Seattle, but I'm from Boise, but my middle name's Seattle, and eventually I'm gonna move to Seattle and it's gonna be great. And so we had to have a command for a long time to just say, and it was like command Seattle because my mods are so tired of explaining it. And then they were, I'm sure, tired of me just being like, so I'm not actually from Seattle. And it's always like the age old icebreaker question every time. But now it's a lot less explanation because now people are like, oh, she's from Seattle.
Mhm.
And then it's just a fun fact that it's my middle name.
That is a pretty cool fact. King says filled up with the TarynCon with Seattle Twitch musicians and watch the chaos. There will be chaos for sure.
Ooh,
It's a
that
fun
would be
y'all.
very fun.
It's a fun group you all have up there. Um,
It's a very fun group.
yeah.
Yeah.
Pinball says the long con. I love it when a plan comes together. Brilliant plan, Taryn. It really was. Like that was just amazing, amazing strategy. But
Yes.
so my question with respect to all of that, because I never knew about your middle name and what inspired it. Like what inspired your parents
Oh
to give you
yeah.
that middle name?
So my parents really, so they had a couple family friends that lived in Seattle that they were really close to. And so it was a city they visited a lot, never lived in, didn't spend an extensive amount of time there, just really loved the city. And every time they visited, they fell in love with just the forest and the trees and the mountains and the water and the city itself and how much full of life and vibrancy it was. And then they also found out that Seattle was named after Chief Seattle, who was a Native American chief, and I believe from the Duwamish tribe, but I could be wrong. Don't cite me on that. But they also just thought, oh, what a cool guy. He had some really awesome things to say about leadership and conservation and taking care of the earth and taking care of people. And so that's kind of what happened. And then it was going to be my first name, which I feel like would make things a little awkward and I feel like could kind of have been a pain for any sort of like legal paperwork. Um, but but yeah, but they decided to go with the middle name because they're like, nah, Seattle's too weird. Let's just name her Taryn, which is a little weird, but not as weird as naming her after a city. So that's kind of how it went.
But there are people named after cities. I mean, Austin's a
Oh
city,
yeah,
and I've heard
Austin's a thing. Yeah,
Victoria is a city, and people are named after.
Victoria.
Yeah. So I haven't heard Cleveland. I think is a name too. I mean, it's a last name for sure. I mean, it might even be a first name
Oh
for some
yeah.
people. So I love it a lot. Um, but friends, yeah, I love this. And people scheming in the chat, I love it. That's what we're here for. I love that a lot. Um, Yeah, but your time hanging out with people via this platform does seem to have created a lot of really cool conversations. Like, are there any really memorable tangents you all have been on over the years?
Oh man, there's a couple. There's a lot of them. One that I think about a lot, just as far as conversations go, is we're having some sort of conversation about falling in and out of love and this idea that you could kind of just meet the same person over and over in different relationships until you kind of learn your lesson, essentially. And it actually inspired one of our streamer friends who, I guess, like friends of the stream, who later became one of my mods. It inspired him to write like a whole bunch of lyrics about that exact kind of phenomenon. And then he shared it with us in our chat, and I was like, oh, or in our Discord, and I was like, oh, that'd be so cool if we could, turn it into a song or something later on. And I had never written a song live before, and I thought just writing a song from scratch would be really intimidating. Like I've seen other music streamers do that, and it's super cool, but it's just a lot. And for me, songwriting's a very personal, private thing. It's kind of like writing in my diary and then finding a really casual way of saying these things that I'm writing down in private. And so that's what gets turned in my songs. So I was like, oh, well, if someone else did the lyrics for me, then I could just turn them into a song. And so we took his lyrics, and I think it was my celebration of some sort of follower milestone a long way back. And so we were like, let's just do it. And so I put it together in a song. And then luckily I clipped it. And then we decided to just add it to the song list. So that was a
That's it. Yeah.
cool kind of thing. We also had, I can't remember if it was I was talking about because I love the movie I, Tanya, and I was talking about Tanya Harding, and then all of a sudden someone created a username that was like, I am the real Tanya Harding, and then and then someone else made another fake account that was like the username of who's the girl who got kneecapped in that whole story? What's her name? Can't remember.
Oh,
But like the other
Nancy
figure skater,
Kerrigan.
she had,
Nancy Kerrigan, right?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then someone else made another Twitch account using that name, and so they had a fight in the comments. That was a good one.
Good
That was
times.
just like a funny one.
Good times. Yeah, that movie was like that. I wish I had seen it. I I have no excuse because it was out and it looked like a really
It's
fun movie.
so good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Margot Robbie is incredible in that movie. It's probably honestly one of my favorite movies.
I hear that. I hear Albatross 21. Welcome into our show. Nice to see you. Welcome, my
Albatross.
friend. Hope you're doing well. Albatross 21 says Cleveland is a character on Family Guy. I think. Ah, yes.
Oh yes. Yeah, the Cleveland show.
Good call on that. Um,
That is a thing.
yeah, folks. I'm really sorry about the stream quality right now. I don't know what's going on. Like it's something's happening. Something's up with my network. I'll have to figure out what's happening there. Usually it happens when someone else in the apartment is uploading content, so I'm assuming that's what's happening. So really sorry. It is
How
going
dare they?
it's going through though. It's just not going through in the way I was hoping it was going through. So but at any rate, I'm glad you all can still see us. Charlie, great to see you too. Charlie the God is 1123. And you Ulo, what is going on? Joke accounts on Twitch? Rain says tell it like it is. I love it. King says I started to think it was my end. How dare the roommates send and whatnot? I know, it happens. We have a faster connection now. I didn't think we were gonna have to worry about this for a while, but I am recording it too, so the VOD will be really nice. Like the VOD will be really nice once I get it up. So, but I'm glad people can still see it. So, okay, great. So where were we? We were talking about great. Oh yeah, what was the name of that song by the way? Like what was it called?
Oh, the same person, different name. And so for the
Ah,
artist, we put my name, and then we put Alone in the Corner because he wrote the lyrics. And one of my other mods, Ludi, loves to joke that he hates the song because he just likes to be mean.
I
It's
love.
what he does best.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've gotten to know our friend Ludi as well. I mean, he's a character. Let me tell you, everybody. Like,
He's a character.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
spicy, but I think it's how he shares love and affection with people.
Thousand.
His love language is teasing, I would assume. Unless he's just really mean.
No, I
We
don't
just
think.
have never picked up on it.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
I
It's
doubt
all in
it.
good fun. It's all in good fun.
Yeah.
Um, so you're looking ahead to like the rest of the and hey, Steph's great to see you. What's going on? How's it going? Welcome in. Sorry about the stream quality right now, but Pinbus is trolls on Twitch. That's fair too.
Trolls on Twitch? Unheard of.
You know it's funny, Taryn. This is a point that my mods make all the time. Your biggest trolls on your channel often are your mods, and that's borne out wherever I've been. Like pretty much every channel's kind of had that experience.
I wonder too if it's like And I wonder too if your mods troll you to almost build up like a thicker skin, right? So that way you get so used to people teasing you that when people are actually teasing you in the chat, you just you can just roll with it in stride and make jokes about it. Like I think in the beginning when I used to stream, I was a lot more affected by, trolls kind of speaking out and being crappy, and it used to bother me a lot more than it does now, and now it just kind of like rolls right off kind of 99% of the time. Um unless and especially like if I'm already in a good headspace when I'm streaming and someone comes in and says something dumb, I'm like, ah, whatever. Um but also if I'm in a bad headspace when someone comes in, I'm like, hurts a little.
Gotcha. Okay, I have confirmed that we do have some uploads going on in our network, so bear with us, folks. It should be okay. We'll get through it somehow. I think it's only gonna be for a few minutes. So, Westsider, great to see you, by the way. Hello there. And
West Sider.
I like it. And Albatross says, and now that Clint is a mod, he can't ban Clint while she plays his song. Okay, that's great. I love that. That's a complication that's kind of funny, actually. Yeah. So, and then who? Anybody else who checked in? Oh yeah, that's right. Rain's checked in. What's going on, Rain? Give a shout out to Ulodanine. Um, what's great to see. Okay, so let's see. You know what? I think that we've got a pretty decent. We got a pretty decent group here with us, Taryn, and
Nice.
I think that usually means for us here on this program that it's time to bring in our signature moment of the evening. And folks, this is what we call the. Are you ready? Wait for it. For time for the. It's our
Oh my God, I love it.
Thank you. Sandwich of the week, everybody. And yeah, this is good. We got some good ones tonight. And so, Taryn, as we do on the program, we'd love to give you the first presentation. So, please share what you have with us if you have a sandwich for us.
I do not have a sandwich, which is so unfortunate. I was hoping that Sketch would make a chicken wrap, which is what he's making currently. I was like, oh, maybe we can get it done right before the stream. But he gets off of work at 5:30, and so it's not possible.
Oh, no worries. Well, the good thing is I brought enough sandwich for two. Here we go. Let's go take a look.
Oh, yay!
Taryn, I got you. Tonight we have this interesting one. This is called now I have to go look up what this was called, but it's a Jersey Mike's sandwich. Here it is.
Ooh.
Yeah. And
Very good.
It's a hardy one.
Very hardy.
This one is called the Contro Special, I think.
Ooh.
Let me go get that name
Looks
correct.
Good.
Oh yeah, it's the Concro Special. This is top round roast beef, provolone cheese, and pepperoni with all the fixings.
Ooh.
It's an interesting one.
Provolone is the best cheese, I feel like, on sandwiches. Hot take.
It's a good one.
I feel like it's good on any sandwich. Can't go wrong.
Yeah, I mean, especially the Italian sandwiches, but really anything, right? Like,
Yep.
I was just thinking right now, I've never tried it on a hamburger. Have you? That sounds like a really good
I feel like that could be a good combo.
Yeah.
I feel like provolone's just like a very neutral cheese. Can go good on anything.
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, let's try a bite of this and see what it tastes like. It's gotten done Mike's way. I don't know if you do Mike's way too, Taryn, but it's pretty good.
Nice.
It's spicy.
It's spicy.
As it should be.
As it should be. Yeah. I feel like Italian sandwiches, they gotta be spicy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a good one tonight. I really like it.
Nice.
I added some.
Did I ever ask you what inspired the whole sandwich thing? Is that something I've ever asked?
I don't think you've asked that to me, but I have been asked that question before, and the answer is always a great story. My cousin Firelord Critch coined the phrase "Davy's eating a sandwich" years and years ago, like over 10 years ago. So one time, he saw me eating a sandwich, literally like this, at a party. And he was telling his cousins and his sisters, Davey's eating a sandwich. He was doing a chant, like a Davey's eating a sandwich. And then I was going to have a hot dog, like Davey's having a hot dog. And then I'm having a pizza, like Davey's having some pizza. And this was a thing for months. And they would like go and get into these chants whenever I was eating something. So later, they made a Facebook group called Davey's Eating a Sandwich on Facebook.
Oh my God.
And literally the whole thing was just like a picture of me when they found me. And they would write in big letters, Davey's eating a sandwich.
That's phenomenal. Cult following.
And that's how it all started, Taryn.
Gotta trademark it.
Years later, my cousin, Kavira Lord Critch, aka Christian, asked me to join his Discord server. This was way before the pandemic. We're talking like maybe 2015, 2016, 2017, something like that.
Nice.
So I used Davey's Eating a Sandwich as my handle over there, and I was playing games with them and doing voice channel and all that. This is like I didn't even know what it was. Like, it was just learning all this stuff. And so when I came to Twitch, I'm like, should I just use that handle since I already had it on Discord? Like, let's just go with it. I think I had to redo the account for some reason though, so I couldn't remember the password to the original one, so I had to make another one. And that somehow worked. And that's why I'm Davey's Eating a Sandwich, because my cousin saw me eat one day, and he thought he would poke fun at it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the commitment to just creating a whole Facebook group and then everyone joining in. Like that's a movement. That's a sign of a a sign of a movement.
Oh, there's no question. It's just, it was a fun bit, and that's kind of why I wanted that name for Twitch, because it's like, it's just a fun name. Like,
Oh yeah.
it gets people talking. It's hilarious, and that's kind of like,
It's a good opener, you know?
Yeah.
It's a good icebreaker.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I imagine, like, when, as Taryn Seattle, you have the similar experience. Like, it's an icebreaker in a lot of ways, too. It's like, oh, is that your name?
Oh
Is that
yeah.
where you're from? And, like, oh.
Oh yeah, it's always like it leads into like 5 million questions every single time. It's like, where are you from? And all these things. And yeah, and I always have to give the long explanation of the name and why it's my name and where I'm from and all the things.
Oh, yeah, yeah. But it's good, though. I mean, it creates engagement, which is ultimately the goal of streaming, like, to engage.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
great that it's worked out. Like, it is really neat. I mean, the growth you've had in the 4-ish years. I don't know when you started. I think was it 3 years or 4 years ago? Like, I'm trying to think at this
It
point.
was, I think, oh, yeah, I think it would have been 2020. So it's been 4 years. And I think I really started in the summer. Like I had kind of started early 2020, right before the pandemic. And then I was like, God, I'm never doing this again. And then the pandemic happened and I was like, oh, just kidding. I'm going to do it again. And like, yeah, man, the first one, and it was really all Sketch's idea when I first started. It was like because at the time he was working at Grubtruckers, or I guess the Grub Truck, which was the Grubtruckers stream on Twitch, and I was telling him about how I needed to crowdfund a bunch of stuff so I could come out with an album, and that's what I wanted to do. And I was like, I have no idea how I'm gonna even do this. And he's like, oh, you should just start streaming on Twitch. And I like didn't even know what it was. And he's like, yeah, well, we live stream the food truck. I was like, people watch you make mac and cheese and they pay for that. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, are you serious? And he's like, yeah. And then they watch people play video games. I was like, why would they do that? And he's like, I don't know. And I was like, okay. And so I got on there and then yeah, I started streaming in like January, and then I got a raid from Grubtruck, which I was very confused because I was like, I don't know what this means. And then there was all of a sudden a bunch of people on there, and then I just like ended it, and I was like, I don't even know what to do. And then yeah, and then I didn't come back, and then when I did come back, I didn't know how to raid anybody for the first 3 months, so it was just like me and like the 4 people who chanced upon my stream for 4 months, just like, hey, you're back.
Aw, I do love that.
That was cute.
Well, you know what though? It is really cool to see that you dabbled in it even before like it was a thing. Like before it was a thing for musicians to do it on the level that they do today. And
Yeah.
you learned very quickly. I think that's pretty cool. Like that's pretty cool. Like it's neat to see the food. Now, is the food truck still on Twitch? I don't know. I know.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're into Grubtruckers. I wonder if
Okay.
they're on, I guess it's Tuesday. They're on like I think Wednesday through Saturday or something, but
Okay.
they stream like late nights. And so, but apparently what happened, what the reason they took off is that they had a bunch of crazy clips just happen with like drunk college kids and all that stuff. And so the clips just get like uploaded to Reddit's was it Twitch fails or stream fails. And so that's how they took off was it just got posted to these Reddit threads and then people were like, what is this weird food truck doing in this college town and making mac and cheese with these crazy college kids just cooking food and it was yeah, it's a weird place.
Yeah, but but that's actually a big thing on Instagram too. Like you see all sorts of wacky foods on there. Some of them,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, and that's really neat to see. I have just put the link to Grub Truckers on in the chat. Y'all follow Grub Truckers and mods. Shout out to Grub Truckers for people watching the VOD too. So like, um, I will be watching for them, Taryn. I'm looking forward to seeing what they have next. Like that's really cool that they're
It's
still around.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird stream.
Well,
Well, and you go up to the trucks, if you go up in person and you go up to the truck in Moscow, which is where I went to school, it's this tiny college town in northern Idaho. And if you walk up to the truck, there's all these signs that say like, alert, this is a broadcasting area. And so you can like hear, I guess people can redeem their chat so they can be like read like by the speakers. And so you can like every once in a while I feel like all these Twitch alerts and stuff. And yeah, and like part of their stream is like people can buy food for people. It's like super nuts, but it's a thing. It's very interesting people watching. So if you're into people watching, that's a thing.
I think it's. I'm just surprised I haven't seen anything like this before. Like it's a pretty cool
No,
idea.
it's really random. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and I love the idea of like getting to buy food from the truck on the stream. I think it's the food from their truck, right? Is that the idea? Like,
Yeah, so you
okay.
can like buy basically someone's food in line. And so the
Ah.
truck will make like mac and cheese, it's like tacos, hamburgers,
Mm.
bunch of stuff. Yeah,
Ooh.
it's a fun stream.
That
And so
sounds.
Sketch used to be a chef on that
Mhm.
truck, and that's how
Yeah,
he knows all the things.
I love it a lot. Yeah. I mean, what a cool connector. Now,
Very random.
what is Sketch's involvement in Twitch today? Like, would he be doing any streaming and otherwise, or is he just a consumer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So he actually streams right over there at that desk behind me.
Oh,
And so
nice.
he does painting. And currently he's working on a really cool it's like a really cool piece. It's just like a bunch of different colors all smattered on this canvas. It's kind of cool. They kind of look like I think it kind of looks like the gum wall in Seattle or like popped balloons. But he's been streaming on Twitch longer than I have. He kind of started doing it during the pandemic, and so he would draw different things. He'd do like line art, and then he played random video games. So now that we have like a space, and he's got his own desk, he's starting to do it like once a week, and then with hopes that he just wants to like commit to doing it as much as he can. And then if he can get consistent at it, then he wants to kind of like move up from there. But he used to stream a lot. And so, yeah, kind of inspires him to keep doing art, kind of like how this kind of inspires me to like keep making music just because it's
That's
an
really
added accountability, I guess.
well. I mean, it does. It's just like exercise, right? Like if you have
Yeah,
friends that are exercising, it encourage you to exercise more, and it's like it's a great.
definitely.
I love that. Yeah. Um.
Yeah.
First of all, Pinball, thank you for your 314 bits. This is me buying Davey a sandwich or at least a slider. And you know what?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's really nice of you, Pinball. Thank you. Thank you so much. 314 also means could be buy me a slice of pie. You know.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not too bad, right? Like let's see. So, yeah, so can we give a shout to Sketch too. Their sketches. Albatross was so nice to throw Sketch's handle in the chat. Let's check that
How
channel too.
cute.
I dig it. And I that way I also can follow. I want to pop in on Sketch's channel too if I can.
Yeah.
Um,
Fun fact: his old username on Twitch used to be Swag Daddy OG.
Swag Daddy.
Like something really, really ridiculous.
I love
I
it.
think he eventually changed it. So,
That's an epic
it's
name.
a conversation starter in its own way.
Yeah, it really is. Really is. But yeah, give her a friend a follow. Okay, so one other comment in chat, then we're gonna go ahead and segue to random questions. Albatross says that provolone works everywhere. Needs to be provolone on a steak and cheese, not whiz or other types of cheese. Well, that's a conversation in and of itself. I mean, there are many schools of thought on how a steak sandwich should be prepared. I mean, the people of Philadelphia would not make that point. They would say that the whiz is perfect for it. And others would say that provolone is perfect for it, and still others would probably say other cheeses are perfect for it. So, I think Albatross is a very solid opinion here, but I do think that there'll be people who feel differently, and I feel like there's room for both.
There's room. I will say I've never had a steak sandwich with cheese whiz on it.
Oh no!
Does it just melt?
It'll melt pretty well.
Does it melt?
I don't. Well, that's a great question because hold on a sec here. Okay. I mean it's already soft, right? So
yeah. So does it just turn to liquid on the sandwich?
Apparently, it's kind of keeps some. It's still kind of there. It'll liquefy for sure, but not completely liquid. I think there'll still be some goo involved, so I think it would somewhat.
Very appetizing.
I know, real legit.
There's some goo on the sandwich, you know.
Yeah. Albatross says maybe if you want to shout into the wind, learn this in Philly. Very good, very good. I appreciate. Well, if you do ever end up in Seattle in the near future, in Philadelphia in the near future, I would love to hear your thoughts on cheese whiz on a sandwich. Now I kind of just need to try one just because it's been a minute.
I know, just to give it a shot.
Yeah. I'll say this: if we get to the hype train, we can order one. I think they have cheese whiz places around here, just for shits and giggles. I can order one. Let's see.
I was gonna say you can find anything in LA.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the best part. That's the best part about living in these like West Coast cities is there's so much good food everywhere.
Yeah.
Like there's an Ethiopian place, there's an Indian food place, there's a like any type of food I could ever want. It's like possible to order.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's a big reason why we live in cities like this. People who live in San Francisco have the same experience. People who live in San Diego, same idea. You know, great food in all these towns. It's a great thing about the West Coast for real. Have you? And I imagine you've been to Portland too, right? Like Portland has just as much great stuff going on.
Oh my god, yeah. Portland's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Portland last summer for I played some sort of songwriter round show, and it was a super fun weekend. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. No, that's awesome. And it's not that far away. It's like a 2-hour drive, right? Like it's not too far.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
Super easy to get to.
Yeah. Pinball says, I need to get back to Ethiopian food. Only had it a few times, but always so good.
So good.
So good.
Always so good.
Yeah. Low Bass Guy. What's up, Low Bass Guy? Low Bass Guy says, how is you? We are doing well. It's nice to see you, Low Bass Guy. Good to see you. Shout out to Low Bass Guy. Welcome, friend. Nice to see you. And now, and everybody who's with us, Albatross says, Wiz is the cheap street solution at food carts. Better steak and cheeses would use provolone. Yeah, I mean, the higher quality one. Yeah, I mean,
Fair.
I like your point. I like your point. So, folks, we're gonna give you the chance to ask questions of Taryn Hadfield, aka Taryn Seattle Now, in what we call America's favorite moment in Twitch broadcasting.
Do the dance. It's time for random questions.
Oh gosh.
Ask us anything.
Thank you, friends, for bringing us in. They always sing so well. Let's go with open up the question queue. Give me a second here. We'll get that opened up. And let's do it. Okay, so use exclamation.
Okay.
So anybody in your chat, if you'd like to ask a question of Taryn tonight, use exclamation point question, then type in a question and throw that into the chat, and we'll take your questions in order throughout the evening. It's just that simple, and we'll gladly
I love
take.
it.
I can't wait to hear from all of you about these things, and we'll see. We'll investigate the matter of cheese whiz and sandwiches at some point, perhaps soon, but we'll see it depending on how things go. So get those questions in. We'd love to hear from you tonight. All right, here we go. Pinball Sorcerer, who does not live too far from Taryn and other people in Seattle. Here's a question. I love the question prompts on each stream. Where do you come up with these? Oh yeah, that's a great question. Like, is that maybe that's a question for me? Or no, that's a question for you because I've seen your titles. You do have great question prompts, and that's actually something I was thinking of asking you. That's a great question, Pinball. So yeah,
That's yeah, that happened. So that was an idea that came from being a part of that Twitch collective thing. And so it was kind of this collective of several artists who all applied to kind of get this like extra mentorship from other more like established music streamers on the platform. And so I think it was Megan Lenius came up with this where she just had icebreaker questions in her title. It's like, wow, what a great way to do that. Because I love asking my community questions. I love having conversations with people in between songs. Like my stream is a lot more like play a song and then talk about it and play a song. And I just love talking. And so yeah, so the questions that I come up with, like sometimes I'll Google icebreaker questions. Sometimes I'll ask Sketch. I'm like, hey, you have a random icebreaker question, and then he usually comes up with something inappropriate that I can't use. And then other ones are just ones that kind of pop into my head of like things I've been thinking about or have come up in questions with my friends, or something that's on my mind. Like the other day, the question, what's the pettiest thing you've ever done, kind of came from a conversation I was having with one of my friends where she was trying to get advice and was gonna do something crazy, and I was like, don't do that, don't do that. And yeah, and it kind of sparked this idea of like, huh, I wonder what other petty things people have done. So that's where a lot of these kind of come from.
I'm so sorry. You caught me mid bite.
No, you're good. I like finished. I finished like very abruptly. Was like, and that's that, and then on to you.
I love the variety in the ways you get those questions, though. That's really cool. I have wondered that for a long time too. So, Pinball, phenomenal question. Thank you so much for sending that to us.
Thanks, Pinball.
Pinball's is definitely one of the more thoughtful, one of a very thoughtful fellow. So it is really cool to hear from you tonight, my friend. Let's go on to King Dambreaker. Speaking of cool, thoughtful people, great question from King. Here it comes. Living or dead, who are your top 3 artists that you would most like to collab with for a live performance?
Oh, okay, okay. So many, so many. I mean, obviously, Florence Welch from Florence and the Machine would be top of that list. I think it'd be really cool I think it'd be especially cool to perform with her just because of the way that she dances on stage and her stage presence is incredible. So I'd say that's number one. Well, I guess like not I guess not in any particular order. But Florence Welch is for sure in that 3. Stevie Nicks would just be so cool. Like just the way that she sings. I got to watch her live I think like a few years ago, 2 years ago, with my mom and my sister. And so she's just incredible. And she's got so much experience writing incredible music, both with a band and solo. So I'd say that's up there. And then I would also say I really, really love Julian Baker, and I feel like I would love to be her friend and write music with her. She seems like someone I could hang out with. And so I feel like she'd be cool to write with as well. Like I love the way that she writes. But yeah, in a perfect world, that's who I would collaborate with. I guess all living women are on my list.
That's great. I love this. I love these. I love these choices. I really do. The Florence and the Machine is a really cool choice. Like that's a fun one. And
She's incredible.
oh, absolutely, absolutely. King, thank you for your question. Fantastic question. So let's continue with Albatross21, who, Pinball, by the way, have a great rest of your night. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Pinball says, sadly, need to leave for dinner. Loving the show. Take care, all. Take care to you, too, Pinball. It's good to see you again.
No worries. Bye,
Hi,
Pinball.
Pinball. Welcome. Good to see you again. And joining us in the chat as Pinball goes is our friend indubitably, Brendan. What's going on, Brendan? Nice to see you again, my friend.
Brendan.
Brendan says, what was everybody's sandwich tonight? Here it is. I had sandwiches for 2 tonight, so here they will. This is a conch roast special from Jersey Mike's, done Mike's way. Roast beef, pepperoni, and provolone. The provolone was a very popular pick amongst the chat, so there you have it. Good times. Davey's pregnant? What does that mean? That's fun. Oh, for 2, the for 2 comment. I got
Davey's eating for 2.
I see where he's coming. I see where you're coming from. I got it. That makes funny. Could not afford a double tonight. Oh my gosh, that's funny. But yeah, welcome, Brendan. And yeah, feel free to keep those questions coming. So Albatross's questions next. Taryn, what are your plans for Juneteenth and or the solstice, if anything other than worky?
Ooh, okay. So I'm really lucky because my company that I work for my quote unquote day job gave me Juneteenth off. And then one of my friends is playing a show at one of the venues in Seattle, I think Chop Suey, and they're doing it for a nonprofit that's supposed to help it's supposed to help people of color who are also trans. It's a nonprofit. And so the concert is to go like benefit that nonprofit. I need to read up more on it, but I was like, that's a cool way to celebrate Juneteenth. I'll go do that. And then, yeah, and they're taking donations for that sort of thing. So I was like, perfect. I can like help people, listen to good music, hang out with one of my friends. And then for the solstice, no plans as of yet for the solstice. For right now, but that might change. I know there's a bunch of stuff in Seattle. Like there's like the Fremont Solstice Fair. There's a bunch of stuff. So might do something. I also might try and go home at some point in June and try and celebrate if I can, like drive out for a weekend. But I don't know. I'd have to pick a weekend very quickly. So
I think that a summer weekend spent with family does sound like a really good time. Yeah, that does sound like a pretty cool idea. So yeah, thanks for sharing that, Taryn. That's pretty good. A lot of cool ideas for both of those occasions. You mentioned the mention of the solstice reminds me of the eclipse that we had about a couple months ago. That was just an enormous story all over the world, really. But did you end up going anywhere for that, or did you end up trying to make the most of the totality you had in Seattle? Like it
was just like, it sucks because when you're on the West Coast, it just it's not very noticeable. And here in Seattle, it was like cloudy, so it was just a whole lot of nothing. But a few years back when I was in college, I ended up being in the path of a solar eclipse up in my college town, and so that was super cool. And so like everyone on campus like went outside, even if you had classes, like teachers excused you, and they had the little like solar glasses that you could put on, and that was a really cool thing because and then it was kind of smoky, but you could still see the sun, so it just looked very very spooky.
Oh man.
But
yeah. I have got to time my sandwich biting better.
No, you're good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I would be doing the same thing if I had a sandwich right now, which is also part of the reason I don't have a sandwich right now, because I don't trust myself to eat on camera.
I hear that. I mean,
it's a very trusting, vulnerable position.
You're right, and it's like, especially if you're off camera when it's happening, it's like, oh shit, I gotta get back on camera. So I appreciate you. It's all right. And then let's go to Rain's question. Rain's question is, What are some things musically that you would like to try or play with?
Ooh, musically that I would like to try or play with. This is a very open-ended question. Uh, Things I would like to try and play with. I mean, one of the things I had been wanting to do for a long time is play with string instruments, which I'm already doing with the band. So I guess that doesn't answer the question. I know. I've been wanting to learn how to play bass for a really long time, just for my own knowledge, because it's such an easy, once you know guitar, it's so easy to just like pick up bass because those bottom strings are the same. And so, I mean, it's not like I'll be perfect at bass or anything, but I was like, wow, I should just teach myself and play along. So that's definitely on my list is learning bass. Very up there. Probably get an electric bass. I think that's what I'll do.
I feel like the transition would be pretty. Yeah, it would be. It would seem pretty.
Pretty seamless.
Yeah, yeah. I feel the same. Like definitely easier to do that than go from bass to guitar. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad that I started with guitar because it makes everything easier. Although I wish I had started with piano, but
Mm-hmm.
I to this day still don't know how to play piano, and I'm just it is what it is at this point.
Piano's tough to learn though. It's tough,
Yeah.
So I mean, no shame in that at all, obviously. But guitar is sweet, and I think I've seen you play mandolin on stream, and that looks pretty cool.
Yeah. Mandolin, banjo,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yep. Where would violin fall into that Parthenon for you? Like, is that?
Ooh. Violin would be a stretch,
Mm-hmm.
just because that sensation of playing with a bow it's pretty tough. Like getting it to not squeak, getting the right amount of pressure. The motion is entirely different. But the nice thing though is that because I learned mandolin, I already kind of know, like at least the strings are the similar between the violin and the mandolin. But the problem with a violin is just there's no frets. So versus guitar, you can just press your finger anywhere within that little space and it makes the same note. But if you're on violin, depending on just little fractions of a fraction of just moving your finger either which direction is going to change the pitch slightly. And so that would be tough to get. That would be tough to learn.
Oh,
Tough
you're
to
right.
work out.
I have seen it, and it's smaller too, though. It's like the fret,
Yeah.
the whole thing is smaller. Like it's harder to
Yeah,
like.
it's really compact.
Yeah, yeah. Brendan says violin takes a lot. It really does. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never really attempted it. I had a violin in my mom's house one time, and I just did the bow like doo, 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 doo. But I've never actually attempted the strings, like plucking, putting the fingers on the strings at all. Um, yeah, it's wicked. So anybody that does violin, big respect to you, and that goes for everybody. Hey Panda, what's going on? Rusty Panda, what's going on? Welcome in. Shout out to the Rusty Panda. Nice to see you. We're here to take questions tonight. We have a good question that we'll throw into the chat, but first, thank you very much, Rain, for your question. A really good question, once again. Let's go to Brendan's question. Here it comes. Brendan's
Ooh.
question is, what's going on with Idaho?
What's going on with Idaho? That's so open-ended. um, like with personally, I feel like I'd almost have to ask to clarify, but I'll take it as how I interpret what's going on with Idaho as far as how are things back in my hometown now that I'm not there, is how I'm gonna take the question.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And yeah, I definitely miss everyone back home a lot. I try to visit a couple times a year. Um, the thing that's preventing me from moving back from Idaho, there's a couple things that like I think like I'll eventually probably come back to Idaho. Um, eventually, a while from now. But I feel like there's a couple like personal and professional things that would kind of have to fall into place for me to move back. Um, and so I think, yeah. And then also it's a little bit of a weird place to be right now as like a woman in Idaho for various reasons. And so I feel like that's another thing that I'm kind of like, I don't really want to get back there super soon. But I definitely miss it, and it's beautiful, and I miss my family, and it's a beautiful place. It's a great place to live, for aside from that. So yeah. So
Cool.
that's what's up with Idaho, I guess.
A very great interpretation of the question, Taryn. Brendan, thank you, Brendan, for your question. Appreciate you. Let's go to King's question. Here it comes. Um, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, so to King's question, largest musical influence.
Ooh. Oh, that's tough. Vocally, I would say Haley Williams is really up there. And then yeah, vocally Haley Williams is probably my biggest influence. And then I'd say songwriting wise, I take a lot of inspiration from Ben Gibbard from Death Cab for Cutie and Stevie Nicks. Well, I guess just like more of the way Stevie Nicks interacts on stage. I would love to emulate more of that. And then yeah, Florence Welch and the way that she writes lyrics and kind of arranges and yeah, and then guitar wise, I take a lot of inspiration from like Julian Baker and the way that she does her guitar parts. I feel like I'm not using a lot of technical terminology when people ask me this question, but it's fine.
But I think it's really cool to see that you draw from different people for different things, which I think makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Like, there's so many components to what makes one a musician, and it is really neat
Yeah.
to learn. Yeah, yeah. Um, Rusty Panda says, "Oh my god, I just saw them in concert with the Postal Service." Yeah, nice. Wait, do you mean the Mac, or did you mean or was it the because I know that sounds like a. By the way, I think I saw that on Panda socials. Like Panda was in that concert. That concert looked really really good. That
Ooh,
good times.
jealous.
But I was trying to figure out who their Lego that was. But at any rate, that's really cool. You got to see the Postal Service and Death Cab. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I
Nice.
I tie them together though. I tend to think of them as the same group. Like or they're
I always feel like that Postal Service is just like the side project of Death Cab for Cutie.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. For sure, for sure, for sure. And so I definitely hear there's so much similarity between the two. So that's a really, really cool concert, Panda,
That'd be a cool concert.
for real. Yeah. Um, but Stevie Nicks is great. It's interesting because like when I start thinking about like what kind of music would be would compare to what you do on stream, and I was thinking like actually, I was thinking also of like um what did I say? Yeah, well, Fleetwood Mac was like one of the choices. Like, yeah, this totally is like Fleetwood Mac. Like, this has a whole Fleetwood Mac feel. The vibe is so Fleetwood Mac. Like, and it kind of warms my heart to know that Stevie's an influence of yours too. So like, I
Oh
see
yeah,
it. I see it. It's really cool. Yeah. Um,
definitely, definitely.
is it fair to say you're a big fan of Stevie Nicks' solo career too?
Yes, no, for sure. Edge of 17's like my favorite song to cover ever.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, I used to get really nervous before any performance, like very, very bad. And so I would put on Edge of 17 before anytime before I got on stage, just to like get myself in the zone, I guess. But yeah, but I used to have just like what I called like a pump up playlist, and it's just everything that would get me feeling really, really confident. And that was usually the first song I ended up like playing and listening to before going on stage and just getting my nerves out.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. It's not just sports where people do pump up playlists. You can do it in music too, everybody. I love.
Oh yeah.
Nice, nice. Um, King, thank you for your question. Another solid question indeed.
Very good question.
Yeah. Panda says they are the same, like the Postal Service and Death Cab are the same band except for one member.
Oh, interesting.
I would have figured as much, you know? I mean, it's,
Yeah,
yeah,
they're so similar.
yeah, for real, for real. Um, Albatross is saying, "Try stand back." That would be tough. I mean, that's a wicked song for real. It's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
Feels like it needs a looper. What do you think? Do you think it would be like more? Don't know.
Ooh.
You could do it in guitar. I think it could be done in guitar, right? Like, I feel like,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. I think anything can be done on any instrument. It's just a matter of creativity.
I like it. I like it. So let's go to the question. This is our weekly question. Here it is. An ongoing sandwich show tradition. The question is: pancakes, crepes, waffles, or French toast?
Mm. Okay. I would say crepes all the way. All the way crepes.
Ooh,
I love
Mods.
crepes. Cause well, I guess all of those things you could make savory, but I love the idea that like with crepes, you can make them sweet, you can make them savory, you can have them just straight up with like a little butter and honey on them. You can put chicken or goat cheese or veggies on them. You can put, yeah, you can do anything with crepes, and they're not super heavy, so you can have lots of them. They're the best.
Yeah, there's something to be said about the versatility of crepes. I think that's a pretty well said. I like it. So, mods, can we put in exclamation point crepes to log the crepes vote for our friend Taryn? Pretty solid, very solid. I like it. I remember the first time I had them, I'm like, I thought they were just pancakes that were thinner, but it's more to it than that. I think it's a very different thing, really. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They're really fun to make. You can just like blend up the batter
Mhm.
and refrigerate it for a while and just pour it in a pan, and
Nice.
they're one of the few fancier things I used to be able to make, although I can't make them anymore.
Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. Right on.
Been too long.
Word up. Word up. Yeah. So crepes now has been mentioned 10 times in the history of the program. I love it. I love it. Moving on up. Dig it. Um,
Nice.
and it says here in the thing, Evelyn approves. Good to know. Evelyn from
I
Justin and Evelyn, big fan.
love Evelyn. Another Seattle
Uh huh.
fam.
Oh,
I
that's
still
great.
gotta hang out with them one of these days.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll be around, and I'll let them know when you're in town, when you're doing your thing too. I mean, I'm sure the feeling is mutual. So, um,
Feeling is mutual.
for real, I love it, love it. So thank you for mentioning that. We love your vote. Um, yeah, for real, King, absolutely. King's like, if someone mentioned that to Evelyn, we should most definitely mention that to Evelyn. Evelyn will be all over it. Um, okay, so Rain with another question. Here it comes. What makes a new to you song? So when you hear a song for the first time, what makes a new to you song stand out to you?
Oh, there's so many things. I feel like for me, usually the first thing that stands out is lyrics always get me. I feel like a really good hook and a really good line is kind of the first thing that stands out to me. Like, not necessarily just, like, oh, these are interesting verses or the chorus is really catchy, but like the hook of a song where you hear that one line and it just sticks and it speaks to you in a way or it gets stuck in your head. That's that's the real crux of it for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love it. I love it because hooks are gonna definitely do it for me. Like I definitely feel like the hook is gonna get you, and that's kind of why songs get popular. Like they get popular because
Yeah.
they get your attention at the beginning.
And I feel like it's the payoff. Like there's all this tension and everything builds, and then there's this line that just kind of like turns the song on its head or it shows something in a different light. It's
Mhm.
yeah, a good hook is the making of a good song.
Big time. We just threw the link up for Justin and Evelyn too. So thank you, King, for doing that.
Nice.
Give our friends a follow as well. Like, just again, so much talent in Seattle. It's incredible. Like it's impressive. Like, are you excited about like? And then how about some of the people that you've met in person, like doing open mics and doing
Yeah.
gigs with the band and other such events? Like, who are some of the people you've met in your travels in the Seattle area?
Oh yeah. So I mean, as far as Seattle goes, the music scene here has been really supportive and really inclusive. And so like just just a few weeks ago, I was part of this women's retreat thing. It's called the Acorn Collective, and so it was basically a gathering of 40, um, basically like 40 women who come from all different sorts of like creative works and disciplines and etc. People who do creative stuff just casually versus full time. And so there was one of the musicians there who I really, really looked up to for a long time. It was one of the first people I had actually like played a show with at like an open mic thing. I was just like an opener in the beginning. And so she was super cool, had some really, really kind words to say to me. And it just left me feeling really encouraged, and she's been doing this longer than I have and has been in it for a long time, and she kind of just told me like, don't stop, like keep doing what you're doing, and that was like super encouraging and really lovely. um and then yeah, I've made some of my like closest friends are through the music community here, and so that's been really sweet, really uplifting, and yeah, it's been really good.
I love it. Albatross says she has been forced to meet a bunch of streamer groupies who traveled to Seattle. That's one way to put it.
Yes, and I've met some Twitch people in Seattle too. Like Albatross, I met at one of my shows. He came out. I've met Bill.
Mhm.
I've met Pinball. I've met, like obviously all the other streamer musician friends. And yeah, there's like a bunch of lovely Twitch people I've met, and I've never, I don't think I've ever really had a bad experience meeting anyone from Twitch yet. Like, um, yeah, like on the whole, it's been overall really, really positive, really lovely. People are really kind. West Sider I met comes to a bunch of my shows. Yeah, just a bunch of lovely, lovely, lovely people that I've gotten to meet.
Amazing. I love it. I mean, and Westsider adds, the one show I miss is Christmas in the Northwest was for West Coast musicians. Ah, that's interesting. In Christmas, the Northwest. Wait, the one show I miss is Christmas in the Northwest. It was for West Coast music. Okay, that's pretty cool. Um, but great to see you. Yeah, Westsider was part of that. By the way, going back to the queue, thank you so much for your question about what makes a new song stand out. Rained, I appreciate your question. The queue
Yeah.
is empty. So if anyone wants to get another question in there, get it in there. We'd love to take more questions from you. Oh my goodness, look who's in there.
Sweet.
Taryn, I don't know if you see the chat, but our good friend Jack Nadeau Music has joined us in the chat. I mean, our good friend.
No way,
For real.
Jack!
Let's go. Yeah. Albatross, that is fantastic timing. Albatross has invoked the mango command. Do you remember the... Oh, I love
So many, yeah, so many channels have that command now. It's phenomenal.
It's amazing.
It's my favorite thing.
Me too. But Jack, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well out there. I hope I hope things are good for you. Welcome in. We'd love to take your questions. We'd love to just chat with you. It's nice to have you back. This is Taryn, of course. Taryn, Jack is, as you know, has been a really amazing musician as well, and has gotten to really befriend so many people through Twitch, much like yourself. And now,
Oh my God. Fun fact about Jack is like one of the, so back when I first started streaming, I played for like six, oh no, like the six people who just found my stream because I didn't know how to raid. And Jack found my stream and was like, "Oh my God, I love your music. Like, we should get it out to more people." And so he kind of reached out to me and actually taught me how to like raid other streamers and how to get raids and how to find mods and like all these things that I would not have learned. So when you mentioned earlier, like, oh, you learned a lot of things and you learned it really quickly, I was like, well, that's because of people like Jack
Mhm.
and people like my mods and other streamer friends who like taught me a lot. And then, yeah, and then also YouTube. There's a lot of stuff I learned on YouTube
Mhm.
from other streamers actually. But yeah, so fun little story. I always say that every time he's on his stream, and he's probably really sick of me sharing that, but it's a good story.
It is a good story. I mean, Jack is one of the most supportive, helpful people out there. I mean, we've all seen it. No, all over the platform. So, Jack, great to see you again. It is really nice to see you too, my friend. Welcome in. Let's see. What was I going to say? Oh, so the follow up question to that is: are there things that you've learned musically by by watching people on Twitch and watching people on YouTube and things like that of that nature?
Wait, what was the question again?
Well, are there particular things you've learned, like techniques you've learned, or ways to do things, or ways?
Oh, yes. Okay, lots of things I've learned. There's like groups of things I've learned. So I learned a lot about video production,
Mhm.
which I admittedly did not know anything about. Like, so my ability to create like at least high quality video in this environment has gone up drastically. Like I started out on a built-in webcam with a built-in mic and just the raw video audio signals just into, the stream to now I've got like, well, I used to have multiple cameras because I used to have a camera for my plants, but now I've got like a nicer camera. I've got like the PC. I've got stuff in Ableton going in. So, which leads me to the next thing is I just learned a lot about music production through doing this. Like a lot of it through trial and error. I started with like a little mixer just to use because I had it from live shows and I learned a little bit about EQ and a little bit about, how much reverb to put on, what kind of reverb works well with my voice, et cetera, et cetera. And then now I've learned a lot of just how to use like a DAW and being able to figure out like, all right, like how much reverb and how much EQ and where does this get brought up in the mix and where does this, and so it's just I've learned a lot about just like the basic things of like tone and what makes a good mix. And a lot of that is through trial and error. And a lot of it's through doing. And then a lot of it's through just watching 5 million YouTube videos and learning from people who've done this a long time and just trying to find like the common threads. Because I feel like sometimes when people learn something new, especially with music production, you just can like get down these rabbit holes of like, what's bus compression? And what's this random thing? And what's this random plugin? And you just get like sucked down this rabbit hole. And so it's like you almost have to just zoom out and like, what's the basics? All right, what
Right.
makes basically a good mix? And so you learn the fundamentals and go from there. So I think those are the two biggest things. And then also just talking to people,
Mhm.
performing live, banter. Those are all things I didn't really have until Twitch.
That's a good point too, though. We learn how to carry a conversation with people, like how
Oh
to
my God.
be in it. Yeah, that's a really good call. Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're on stage, and I think it prepares you too, it's like a nice way to ease into it. Because when you're on stage, like
Mhm.
no one's talking to you, you're just there. And so when you're first streaming, it's very similar. You're just like there, talking to yourself, not sure who's on or who cares. And you're just like, well, I'm going to talk about this song and then I'm going to say what inspired it, even though no one asked me, and that's fine. And like, that's how it's been.
Got it.
A lot of
Gotcha.
that.
And the rhythm and the pacing of it, and then but then as you
Yeah.
saw people joining your channel, that must have been a lot easier after that.
Oh my God. It's so much easier. It's like, I feel like that's the interesting thing of like, I felt like it was going to be harder when there was more people, but it honestly did more heavy lifting. I think it's harder to start out. It's really lonely and it's like really vulnerable and you're not sure if anyone like is listening. And it's, yeah, like I feel like when I first started streaming, it was a lot more nerve-wracking. And then now I'm like, nah, whatever. We're just going to put it on. And if we mess up, it's okay. I don't have to clip it. Like, it's a lot lower stakes.
Oh
Unless
yeah,
there's a big raid, and then it's a little bit stressful.
totally. Really great stuff. Thanks for sharing that. So all these
Yeah.
anecdotes. It's pretty cool to get the perspective here, Taryn. Let's catch up on chat. A lot of really good things coming through the chat. Jack says, "I remember dropping in your stream and wanting more people to hear and discover you. Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
It's great.
That's so sweet.
Ferret Fawcett, it is so good to see you in here. Welcome in, good friend. I hope you're well, Ferret. Nice to see you as always. And I am honored to see Folksy Fox make their first appearance in the chat.
Folksy.
Folksy's good people, folks.
Folksy's good people.
For real. Folksy says, "Hi, Jack. Hope you're doing well. Hello to Taryn and Davey as well." Well, hello, Folksy Fox. It's so nice to see you. I'm honored to have you here. Phil, if you have any questions for Taryn, by the way, any of you in our chat, please throw them in the chat. You can use exclamation point question with your question. So we're giving all of you the chance to ask questions to do the interview, basically, with Taryn Seattle tonight. Jack adds, "This is a random memory, but Taryn funding an album partly through Twitch has to be one of the coolest things I've seen on this platform. This community rules."
Oh my God. Yeah. My first ever album, I had no follower. I had no following anywhere except for like the four the four men who were my dad's age who went to like my bar gigs who requested Freebird
Yeah.
and
Of course, they
I
requested
don't
Freebird.
they always like request Freebird and I never know how to play it and then I always disappoint them every time. And so, but yeah, I looked at my crowdfunding because I did like a little sheet because I love data because that's my daytime job. And I looked at it, I was like, wow, like 86% of that crowdfund money came from Twitch. Like,
Wow.
yeah, like people I didn't know. And like the average, when you separate it out from like, you separate out the total divided by all the number of people who donated, there's like 80 plus people who donated, and average donation was like $100, which is no
Wow.
small thing during a pandemic. And it was very cool. Very, very, very cool. And we had a couple people who did a lot of heavy lifting to make that thing a reality, and I'm very, very grateful for them to do that.
I
So,
I think it's fantastic. What just the tingles in your skin and your spine when you see something like that. And
yeah.
my follow up is describe the feeling of seeing something that so officialized, that like on a Spotify or Amazon Music or Apple Music, and it's on all
Yeah.
these platforms, and that's your name on there. Like, what is the feeling like to see that?
It's it's really cool. It's I feel like I really romanticized releasing an album because in my head I built it up as like you release this thing and then everything changes and everything is different, you're different and the whole world is different when you release this album, because like I had built it up to be like the thing that would change everything, and the reality is like you're still you, and like I still work for a living. Like I still, but like it was like a catalyst for a bunch of small changes. And I think the biggest thing that like seeing that, up on like all those platforms and having people listen to it and having people, around the world on Twitch kind of really listen to it and love it and share their stories with me of what they thought. Um, was it kind of, I don't know, was kind of the start of me living a more independent life, and kind of not giving a crap about what other people thought as much. And yeah, like I used to be a very like codependent person. I still kind of am. And I very much like wanted my family's approval and my friends' approval and for people to tell me what to do and tell me how to do something and tell me what their ideas were. And so after the album came out and during the process of making the album, there's kind of this shift where I started asking myself like, well, what would I do? What do I want to do? And that's a very scary question to ask yourself when you're a people pleaser. So
But
very scary.
it's a big thing for sure. I think it's great to
Yeah.
see that you've been that you've been able to open, and I can see the entire journey of your being a musician. You know, first being a musician before Twitch, then being a musician on Twitch, and then rolling through that, and then extending that to doing IRL events that have kind of come from Twitch has
Yeah.
kind of opened doors. And we talked about opening doors in the literal sense, like meeting people and getting to know people, but it seems like it's opened doors in your personal life too, like it's opened
Yes.
opportunities for you.
Yeah. And I think the main thing is just like I used to build up music as kind of this thing where like I feel like sometimes music functions as a distraction of like, well, if I'm really good at music and I sell my soul and I devote everything and everything to it, then everything will be fixed and I'll be happy forever. And I don't think it's true. Like it definitely doesn't fix everything for sure, but I'm realizing more and more, but it is like this enjoyable, worthwhile endeavor. And I think I've had to make this shift in my head away from like, what am I going to get out of it and how's this going to go? And more like, I'm just going to really enjoy the process of making it. And I think that's something through doing Twitch has taught me a lot of like, because Twitch, like, play a bunch of music randomly for hours and talk to people randomly for hours, and you're not sure like where it's going or what it's doing, but you like doing it. And then every once in a while you see these little things just kind of like spiral up, and it you you give things and then things kind of give back, I guess.
Yeah, and it's great to see. It's a whenever I see it with anybody on this on in the world of music or independent music, it's great. It's because I know how hard everybody works. I know you work so hard at making music happen on Twitch and making music happen in general, like original music, writing music, making music, recording music, and you even mentioned like all the technical things that go into it. There's like a ton of technical things that go into it, and
Oh yeah.
so you all deserve that moment when you get that moment, and it's really great to see it. Um, Let me quickly say hello to a few people. Folksy Fox, thank you so much for the follow. By the way, it's great to see you here. I do appreciate the follow. It's nice to have you here on the Sandwich Show. Um, and let's say hello to Skull Dragon. Welcome in, Skull Dragon.
Skull Dragon. Woo!
Great to see you. Thank you for the question. We'll get that in just a moment. But first, let's go to King Dambreaker's question, which is King's question is: someone comes to you and says, "I want to get into music. What is your reason?" Oh, wait, hang on. Breaking news. Hello. Hi, Sketch.
We do have the sandwich.
Hey, nice.
Also, Sketch is here.
Hello,
and
Sketch.
He's got his really cheesy, inappropriate shirt on. We talked about Grubtruck for a while.
Oh, nice.
We talked about your stream.
Nice.
Yeah.
Fun. How's it going?
It's going.
Pretty
I
good.
guess you can't hear him.
Oh, you can't hear Davey. That's okay. But Sketch, it was great meeting you at TwitchCon.
He says it was great meeting you at TwitchCon.
It's nice meeting you as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Big props to what you do with the cooking though. Like everything you've made, like that, even just that wrap you just got right there, Tara, that looks amazing. Like that looks so good.
Saying your cooking is amazing.
That's good.
All right, bye.
You know what you think of the rap?
I will. Okay, so the question was, okay, so something, I'll let you read it again.
Okay, that's fine. So King's question was: someone comes up to you and says, "I want to get into music." What is your response?
I would say just do it. I would say music is this, I think when people and I feel like a lot of people mean a lot of different things when they say they want to get into music. Like it could be, I want to just start writing, or I just want to start learning an instrument. So I think I would just kind of ask, like, so when you say get into music, what does that mean for you personally? And I think I would kind of adapt my answer to that. So if they were like, well, I want to learn guitar, I think or I want to learn how to sing, or I want to learn how to perform. And all of these things are like, I think sometimes when we ask ourselves broad questions and we have big goals and aspirations, it's really helpful to kind of break things down into smaller steps and be like, well, okay, well, what does that look like? And what do I ultimately want to do? And what's the first step in getting there? So I think for me, and I think my brain works like that because I problem solve all day, and that's like part of my day job is, marketing's all about problem solving. And so for me, like my favorite thing to do with people is like ask them to dream big and be like, all right, so ultimately what would you want to do? Like if nothing was like money and time wasn't an issue, what do you want to do? What does that look like? And what's the first step in getting to that point? So that's, yeah. So anytime someone asks me like, I want to get into music, I immediately am like, let's problem solve and strategize. What do you want to do? So that's probably where I'd go with that.
I think that's a very effective form of communication too. Like really just make it feel really attainable, because it is. You're right. Like it is. Yeah.
It's all just a matter of like how much time and energy, and sometimes I guess money, depending on what the goal is, how much do you want to invest in it. But everything's just a matter of like arranging these different various resources. And yeah, there are some things that will be impossible, but there's a lot of stuff that's really, really possible.
Yeah.
It just might look a little different.
I love it. Oh, Sketches in the chat. Let's go. Pump it up. What up?
Sketch.
Welcome, Sketch. Can we do another shout to
Probably
Sketch's channel? Like
Probably
Sketch's
like she needs to try the rap.
the real reason Sketch is in the chat. No, just
Mm-hmm. To confirm it's good. It is good.
that's good. I do want to say hello to Kenneth S0. Thank you so much for the follow as well. I do appreciate it. And Primordial Sounds, what's going on, baby? What
Primo!
up? Nice to see you, Primo. Maz, can we give a shout to Primo as well? Our good pal. Hey, Digitized Dave's in here too. What up, Digitized Dave?
Dave!
We know Digitized Dave from Taryn's channel. It's nice to see you around.
All the mod friends coming out of the woodwork right now.
I love it. Oh, Primordial Sounds, great question. Is that a sandwich, Taryn?
It's a wrap. It is a wrap. So it's on that it's on the edge of not being a sandwich. But I feel like the only difference between a wrap and a sandwich is just a wrap is just like they're wrapped around the sandwich parts, but bread is just stacked.
Yeah.
So it's all the same. Different format.
It's a fine line, I think, for some people. So I think you can make the argument either way here. And I mean, it's
the argument either way.
I'm gonna say it's a wrap too. I think. I mean,
not quite a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a burrito except for one end. You know, like it's pretty
true.
Yeah. So I'm gonna. It's a good question. It's a good question. Dave's been. Oh, nice. Dave, Digitized Dave. I've been lurking. Right on. So, King, thank you for your question. Like, it is a really, really good. I've always wondered what everyone would say to that question. So it's a pretty good query on your end.
Yeah.
Let's go to Skull Dragon's question next. The question is, that's good. Skull Dragon asks, "What new thing are you working on? What thing would you say influenced you to put into?" Oh, I'm sorry. What thing would you say influenced you to put you into the situation you are currently in?
It's a very open-ended question. Okay, so what new thing am I working on now? What new thing am I working on? So right now, the new thing is not really a new thing. I've been working on it for like, I would say since like January. So the last 6 months, I've been working on arranging songs for a second album with my band and recording demos of them. So we have some rough drafts to work with when we finally get in the studio. But all of that is really up in the air of when we're going to get in the studio, how that's going to work, who we're going to work with. All I know is that I'm just going to keep on plugging forward with arrangements and things and just go for it. And then what thing influenced me to get to, I'm guessing, this new thing that I'm working on? I think there's a couple things. I think part of it's the peer pressure of people on Twitch being like, "That's awesome, you have an album. When's your next one coming out?" I feel like is always the question, which is like kind of like I like to liken it as someone just had a baby and then you're like, "So when are you having their sibling?" It's kind of like that, although I'm speaking as someone who's never had a child. And then part of it's like kind of the giving into that peer pressure of like, yeah, I do want to make something. And then the other thing is just also every album is kind of like looking at yourself from 3 or 4 years ago by the time it's finally done and released. And so I feel like me as a person in my arranging and my songwriting and my vocal style has changed so much since the first album that I don't want the first album to be the last thing I ever share with the world. And so I want to make another one because I have another story that I want to share. And that is, yeah, what inspired me to get to that point. Hopefully that answers the question.
I hope so too. I think that's a really good answer. Thank you, Skull Dragon, for your question as well. Yeah, it's really it is always exciting when you have new things to add to the table. You mentioned you have a band now, which is really cool.
Yeah.
how did the band come together? Really quickly, just before we.
Band, yeah. So it all kind of started with I was playing a show with another group in town that I really love, and their violinist kind of came up to me after my set and was like, "I love how you play. I'd love to jam with you sometime." And then I watched him play with that group that we were opening for, and I was like, "Oh, he's really freaking good. I should just hit him up one time." So I hit him up to play with me at a show, and he was phenomenal. Had just a great ear for arranging, had a great ear for songwriting in general, and was not satisfied with the like surface level part. He could, like some musicians you'll play with and they kind of just play what is obvious. Like they'll make assumptions about what chords you're playing and what you're hearing, and they'll just play whatever. And so my violinist was really good at kind of diving in and being like, what are you actually trying to say here? Like, what do you want to be heard? And so it also taught me how to be more critical, and kind of more precise about what I wanted. And then, so he came along, then he knew a guy from school who was our upright bassist. He was also phenomenal. Same story there. Um, and then I was playing another show at like a cafe, and one guy came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I love your music." He said, "I think you really need percussion on it." I was like, "Yeah, I do." And he's like, "Well, I play drums." And I was like, "Do you want to just come play with me on my next show?" And he's like, "Yeah." And so we jammed, and then he was phenomenal. So they all got together, and and he taught at a music school. So the music school where we were practicing together as a band, there was another girl there who was a music teacher, and she played harp, and she listened to us play from the other room and was like, "Hey, you guys sound really good. I play harp. Can I just jam with you guys for a night?" And so she did, and then she was phenomenal. And then yeah, and so then she just joined the band, and so that's the group that I played with at Folk Life, that festival I played in Seattle a few weeks back. And so yeah, that's kind of how it started.
Oh, what a cool and organic, not to mention. Like it's such an organic.
Yeah.
It's such an organic.
It was really nice to not like harass people to play
Right.
with me, because that has been my experience. It's like, "Hey,
Oh
you
yeah.
want to play with me?" And people like, "No, I have other things to do." And it's like fair.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I remember in the old days, I imagine people would have to put like ads in the newspaper, like
Oh
need
yeah,
musician, and that could get awkward.
auditions and all that kind of shit.
For real, for real, for real. So that is really sweet. Like it's really great that y'all have gotten to know each other. You've done some shows, really cool festivals too. I love it, love it. It's good stuff. Primo said that as far as how you were jamming, that how you found each other. Primo says they just played the lick over and over. Won you over with the lick.
Won you over.
Let's catch up on chat. So Sketch says, "But what is a burrito but a crustless sandwich?" Ah, hell of a question.
Hot take.
Quite. And thank you for the follow too, Sketch. It's nice to see you here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And then Primo says, "I knew it wasn't a sandwich, but just being facetious." Oh, for sure. It's kind of fun. The Rusty Panda was here just a bit ago. I have a really good follow-up sandwich question from Panda that Panda likes to ask from time to time. I'll get to that in a second, but let's catch up on the rest of the chat. King says, "Taryn do be the best." I appreciate you, King. Love it.
Oh.
Primo says, working on the album. Give us more content, please. Wait,
I will. My one thing I want to start doing is like just making more long form content on YouTube. So I've just made a goal, like I'm just gonna pick a song, I'm gonna arrange it, I'm gonna make it super straight up, just minimal editing, just a one take, play a song, and put something on YouTube. So there's just gonna be content that way. And then yeah, the problem is though a lot of this stuff, like the arranging and the practicing in my room of all this stuff, is just it's really hard to record while I'm also making all this stuff and arranging it. So there's just only so much I can do from that point. But I do want to just like have more clips and like use my Fridays as just time to make more music and things. So that's gonna be a thing. But I also did do like a video photo shoot thing in April. I just am holding off releasing that content because I don't know when the crowdfund's supposed to happen. So as soon as I know that, then I can share those things and do a whole thing and do some more exciting things on Twitch and plan all that out. But until I get the okay, I'm just kind of in this weird limbo,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
unfortunately.
That's solid time. So I mean, it makes sense because
Mm-hmm.
it'll really jumpstart the crowdfunding too. It's like it adds
Yeah.
to the
Because I kind of want to line those things up so I'm not just like, here's a video, and it's like, oh, cool. Which
Absolutely.
I could do, you know. So I'm saving that kind of stuff for like right now. And so making more stuff like that in my house or that sort of thing. But things where I'm like announcing something, I want to use those pieces of content that I've made to kind of kickstart that.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Sounds good. Sounds
long
good.
answer.
Oh, I love that. That would be really, really. I mean, it all sounds like a really, really fun event. Like just the entirety of the journey. It seems like a really exciting time. So Skull Dragon, thank you so much for your question. Really, really great. It's good to get updates on everything. Pretty cool. Albatross says, "Don't mean to pressure, but obviously we like hearing the other 40 songs. Cool too. Also cool. Um, so yeah. Now, if you talk about what the album might be thematically, is there anything in particular? You mentioned that with your first album, it's about taking chances and getting to grow out of your shell and kind of get to try new things and be more closer to who you truly are. I think that was what I was reading on Bandcamp about your
Yeah.
album. If you were to describe the next album, what do you think will be the theme of that album?
Yeah. So the theme of that album is it's a lot about identity and isolation are like the two main common themes. So kind of who the album is a lot about pondering the question of like who are you when there's nothing and no one else around you kind of thing, when you have to stand on your own 2 feet. And so a lot of it's inspired by kind of this core image of the Queen of Swords, which is a card in tarot. And basically she symbolizes truth and having boundaries and kind of cutting through all the lies to kind of find the heart of the matter. And so the album is kind of uncovering these lies I've had about myself or about the world or about the people I'm around, and uncovering like my own truths with each of those situations. So for example, like one of the songs is about all the ways I've romanticized various people I've had crushes on, and realizing at the core of it, like I just love making up stories. And that that doesn't necessarily translate into someone having an interesting story, doesn't necessarily translate into them being a good person. So that's like one thing. There's another of just this idea that, you know, in certain situations, the lie that I believe is that, oh, I'm better off just going along with what everyone else thinks and what everyone else says rather than making a decision for myself. And then uncovering the truth that it's actually a lot, in the long run, it's going to be better for me if I stick to what I've actually wanted all along and be really firm about that. And so, yeah. And so every song is kind of like talking about some sort of lie and uncovering the truth underneath it. And by the end of it, figuring out who I actually am and all of that. I feel like that's a very roundabout way of saying it. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
I think it's got potential here. This is good. The layers uncovering truths to reveal more about yourself. Like it's a pretty cool theme. I'm about it.
Sweet.
Yeah. Primos is like, "Who are you?" by the Who. Yeah. There you go. I mean, there's some part of that in there. Absolutely. Albatross is from a song you once seemed to question. I'm not interesting. But yeah. I mean, and as you said, like I'm sure that'll evolve over time, and there might be, there might be some twists and turns to the theme as things go along. So, but I like that there is a theme. Like I think that's really cool. Sometimes albums come out, they don't necessarily have a theme. They're just like a collections of songs about different things. But having a theme is, I mean, it's one thing that I'll pick up for sure. Whenever I'm listening to music, I'm always picking up like themes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I like to view them as like stories and chapters in a story. So like when I was thinking about which songs to kind of pick, I very quickly saw, I was like, oh, there's like two different stories in these songs that I've written in the last 2 or 3 years, and all the songs I haven't released yet. I was like, so I could go this one direction, or I could go this other direction. And so I just kind of picked the one that seemed more interesting and
Mhm.
more formed, more solidified. So yeah.
Oh, for real, for real. And that'll be a really fun time. Now, I'm also interested to hear about what you're looking forward to with the recording process when the moment comes to record the tracks with your band,
Yeah.
because that should be really, really neat to see how all the different parts play out in the studio.
Yeah. And it's cool I get to have a taste of it, making these demos in my house. So I already get to like hear it, and that's something I didn't get on the first album, because the first album I just had chords and I had lyrics, and then I had studio musicians who kind of came in and we rehearsed for a day or 2 days and then recorded. So it was very just like arranged and then just went straight into recording. So this time we kind of have time to really play with the songs and do a lot of that process before we get into the studio. So I'm excited. This time I'm really excited for in the studio when that does come. Hopefully I'll figure that out soon. Is just being able to be more intentional about the parts and have kind of more of a, I don't know, for me just have like, for me to be able to like give more direction and have things more formed. So when we're in the studio, it's more like perfecting rather than creating. So that's what I'm hoping is happening when we get to the studio. But we'll find out.
Yep,
There's
totally.
always going to be stuff that'll be rewritten and changed, and but
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that's. I mean, that's fair. That's true. Let's go catch up on chat a little bit. Cube of Swords took a while to evolve, says Albatross21. And let's see, Primo says concept albums are cool, especially when they overlap musical themes as well as conceptual ones. Yeah, yeah. I definitely see a little of both in the proposed album coming up, so that should be really, really interesting. Now, if you describe like what kind of direction the band will take, do you see it staying acoustic? Will there be hints of electric in there? Will it get kind of like, will it get
yeah,
electronic? I'm always curious about that direction as well.
yeah. I think this one will definitely be a little bit more on the acoustic side of things,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's more. I think it's going to be a little bit less produced sounding. Because the first album's it's very. There is a lot of effects. There's a lot of like digital effects, which I think worked because of what the songs were and what the album was. And so I think on this one, it's going to be a lot more just like working with the room, the space, the natural reverb. And then if there is electric guitar, which I think there will be on a lot of the songs, it'll just be a very, very clean tone. Um, and so less kind of like effects and stuff and more just like it'll still be really dynamic and so I feel like it ain't really drivey, but it'll be more based on like the dynamics and the arrangements of the songs versus just the effects that we can add to them. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense?
It does. It does. It does. I mean, it'll be less produced for one. So like I cut that detail. That's pretty. That's pretty. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Like it'll still have a pretty slick professional feel, but it won't be quite as heavy on the effects and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. So which like are there songs on your songs that are already going to be part of the album? Because I know typically that's what would happen with like when the songs are usually already there, or is this in progress too? Or are these songs that are still in development?
Um, so these are songs like I've already at least finished my end of it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I know the chords I'm playing and I know the lyrics I'm playing.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing we're working out right now is just the arrangement of like, what are the drums doing? What are the strings doing? Like, how loud do we want to get it? And kind of and starting to kind of ponder like, what kind of effects do we want to have? Do we want to have effects at all? So that's a lot of it.
Oh, for
Is
sure.
that sort of element of it. So like the songs are written, but the arrangements are still being made. That's what I'm working on.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. And that's gonna be that'll be that'll be a lot
Oh
lot of
yeah, it's like a developing thing.
for sure, for sure, for sure. Well, all really exciting. We're really looking forward to the journey and where it goes, and pretty exciting stuff overall. So, I'm wishing you best of luck with the crowdfunding and everything else. I can't. I hope to find out about it because I would like to contribute if I can. For sure, for real. Like it sounds like a really great project. So,
Thanks.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. I'm gonna give everybody a last call for questions in the queue. Last call. Last call. Oh, that's right, Anthony Castillo. What's going on, Anthony Castillo? Welcome in.
Anthony!
I see it, my friend. And Anthony says, looking forward to the new upcoming record. It's good to see you, Anthony. I hope you're doing well out there. Anthony says, hi, Taryn.
Hello.
Yeah. And, oh, Tina, thank you for the gifts of the Anthony Castillo music. Very kind of you.
Tina!
And on a second note, hi, Tina French. Welcome in, Tina. It's good to see you again, my friend. Dallas, what's going on? It's good to see you. Dallas Arlo Music. What up? Nice to see you, my friend. So yeah, last call. Send them on in. We will take one more round for our friend Karen, and kind of take it from, and we'll wrap it up for the night.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that headache, Anthony. All right. Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. That's but yeah. One of my favorite things about the show is like we get other musicians in the chat when we do them. So we had actually quite a few tonight. So good times.
Sweet.
Primo was here.
Nice.
Jack was here. Anthony's here now. Dallas is here. So it's pretty good times. No, we Anthony was asking what will the new album be about. We just covered that before you came in. Basically, the theme was like uncovering truths about your. Is that the TLDR of that? I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. TLDR is like taking a hard look at the lies that you've surrounded yourself with on your life and kind of figuring out, what is the truth underneath that.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It's a good introspective theme in a lot of ways. But yeah, thanks for asking, Anthony. So I think we're gonna close the queue. Thank you everybody for your questions tonight. This was a really, really fun round of questions. We had some really, really good topics we got into tonight. We didn't get to talk a whole lot about food though. Even though, like, other than Sketch's incredible career as a cook, I mean that's fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Two key questions. The one from the Rusty Panda question that she often asks when we see Panda in the chat is, if you fold over 2 slices of pizza, is that a sandwich?
I mean, I think so. I think there's bread on the outside and there's things on the inside. That's a sandwich.
Valid. I love it. We accept. We are in agreement on that one. I think it is. It wouldn't be the easiest sandwich to eat. I tried it one time. I was like, man.
No. Kind of falls apart, slides around like.
Yeah. For real. Oh, Tina says I'm about to. Let's go. I hope it's good. I hope
it's delicious.
If not, you got the fork and the knife to help back you up if it does fall apart in your hands. Yeah, Dallas is a pizza sandwich maybe. Folksy Fox with a question: do either Taryn or Davey have plans to visit TwitchCon this year?
You go first.
All right, I'll go first. Yeah. As of right now, yes. I've been thinking about it, but for the moment, I mean, I have the run planned. I'm pretty sure I'll get the ticket, so for all intents and purposes, I should be there. But I am not completely sure. Just it's been an interesting year. So we'll see. But generally speaking, I believe I should be there. I don't feel like it'll change. It's pretty much set. But things could change between now and then. So for now, I believe I'll be going there. So that's the plan. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
I feel like there's a chance I might be able to go, not necessarily go to TwitchCon, but just go to San Diego and then meet up at all the little fun after party hangouts, because those are the things I like the most anyway. So that might be a thing. But it also might overlap with another trip I've got planned. And then there's also the whole question of like studio things and when does that even happen? So that is still very much up in the air. October's a weird month.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is, I mean, I hear that for real. The whole fall is going to be really busy, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So it's understandable if, as things go along. Folksy Foxes, I won't hold you to it. No worries. Folksy, if you're going to be there, though, that just gives me that much more incentive to go. And I've been saying that. So let us, if you do wind up going, let us know. It'd be cool to meet you, for real. So Westsider says I would like to go to San Diego. I like to go to San Diego. Oh yeah. It's a vibe. Taryn, you saw it.
It's a cool town.
Yeah. Tina says a Costco pizza is almost a midnight smack. Yeah, there you go, Tina. I'm with it. It is almost
Costco pizza's good any time of day.
Yeah, let's go. Tina says I have a brother in San Diego. Tina, sounds like incentive.
There you go.
There you go.
Easy.
Let's see. Digitized Dave. I haven't looked at flight prices. I think there is like a 1% chance I go. Not zero. Well, it's not zero. I mean,
it's not zero.
Not zero. But dig it, Dave. I dig it. Let's see. Anybody else in the chat that we should catch up with? Dallas's pizza sandwich, maybe. Yeah. Woot for not zero. I mean, not zero. I'm pumping that up. Absolutely. It's less than zero. So, But I have to be careful because, like, I never know what the future holds. Like, sometimes I don't even know what's going to happen 3 weeks from now. So I don't ever completely know.
Same.
Yeah. So, but I mean, it does sound like it's going to be on track. I think the only difference at least from the Sandwich Show's perspective is like I don't think I have any major plans for Sandwich Show content this year. I think we're just going to go and we're just going to have a good time and vibe and just get to meet people. And it'd be fun. It'd be fun for real.
Bring sandwiches.
That would be the one plan we have. In fact, you see the bar. If you see the bar on the screen, there's a 20.
Oh.
There is a sandwich stand. There is a sandwich stand bit goal. So if we get there, then I'll set up a table at TwitchCon and just get some sandwiches.
It's over a third of the way. You got time.
Plenty of time, folks.
Got a few months.
It's looking good. It's looking good. So, let's see. Dave says, I did just look into flights to see if I could catch an Alex gig this month, but they were unreasonable.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's rough flying to Texas.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Really? From
Yeah. The last few times I had to fly into Texas, I was like, oh, it's way more than I would expect it to be. Like every time I'm like, why is it?
Oh, interesting. Interesting.
Yeah. It's very odd.
I guess it's going to be different from depending. I guess it always depends on where you're flying from, right? So maybe that's what it maybe that has something to do with it. I don't have any problems flying to Seattle. Like it seems like the flight rates are just fine.
It's so easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere on the West Coast or like to Boise, super cheap flights from Seattle.
Nice.
Very easy.
Let's see. Get your various streamers to chip in 500 miles each, and you have at least a one-way ticket. There you go, Dave. At least you can get there. You can get there, Dave. Like, getting back, well, that's a separate matter, but at least you get there.
Hitchhike on the way back.
There would be thousands of people you could ask for a ride, though, at TwitchCon.
True.
Yeah. What parts of the States is Davey? Oh, yeah, good question. Folksy Fox. I am in Los Angeles, which should make should make my ability to get to TwitchCon a lot easier, because that's only
very easy.
Yeah, it's like silly how easy that is. So
silly easy.
It's
jealous.
So that from that standpoint, it was really, there is a lot of incentive for me to go. So I think I'll make. I mean, I was having an existential moment. I wasn't sure of it the other day, but I think we're on track for it. So and so. Folksy, if that's convenient to you too, it'd be cool to hang out with you as well. I don't think I've met you in person yet, so it'd be really cool to say hello and introduce myself. King says Texas at the moment is a little ridiculous, but it does depend on origin. Okay, yeah. I think I did okay getting to Austin like 2 months ago, but you're right. It could be crazy. Oh, I love it. Thank you, Folksy. I love the sandwich stand idea. I think we got some momentum for this. This is good. I would be glad to serve you sandwiches, friends. Like, it'd be really good. Like, Taryn, what kind of sandwich would you want if you happen to come upon the sandwich stand?
Oh, I am a fan of either a chicken pesto or just like a caprese sandwich. Those are my favorites. Best.
Oh, these are great.
But I also just love like turkey and cheese too.
Okay.
I feel like I could go either way. I love all the things.
Those are really great West Coasty kind of tastes. That's like
Mm-hmm.
fantastic. I love it. Those are
The
all really
turkey avocado.
yeah.
The best.
Let's yes, turkey
Mhm.
avocado. Do you go bean sprouts or no bean sprouts, or does it? Or you're indifferent? Like,
Ooh, I'm a fan of bean sprouts.
okay,
Yeah. I always dig sprouts on the sandwiches. The
sweet,
crunchy freshness. Always a good move.
love it. Yeah, nice. Oh, Dave with an update. I just looked at flights Austin to San Diego, and well, I almost have to buy them. You almost might buy them. That sounding like
Ooh.
that sounded like more than 0%. I think we see some increasing in the percentage here, folks. Like this is exciting. Um, let's see. Oh, folks, that's great to hear. You're planning on visiting San Diego then at least. Dig it. It'd be really fun. But anyway, I don't want to pressure. I don't want to see. This is. I have to be careful. I don't want to be plug all over here. But I just. But
Don't want to peer pressure anybody too much.
For real.
Fair.
Yeah. Steven says, so you're saying there's a chance. Yeah. I love it. Oh my gosh, this has been fun. So yeah, Taryn, I know you even like no, Dave says I had to make sure I didn't accidentally put in Austin to San Antonio. That's what the prices look like.
Oh man.
Why would it be so much just going to San Antonio though? Like that's such a little flight. I guess it just is. King says, wait, did Dave just go up to 5%? I think Dave just went up to 5%, folks. 5%.
Ooh.
That's 4% larger than 1. Like
True.
Yeah. So at any rate, thank you so much for doing this, Taryn. This has been another really fun conversation. It was great meeting you back at TwitchCon too, and hopefully I see you down the road as well. I'm hoping I can get up to Seattle at some point in the near future.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know.
Totally.
For real. Thank you everybody in the chat for being part of this tonight. Like y'all have been really fun. So it was really great to see people from your community and our community, and even people from other communities coming in tonight to check in. It's been really been a great time. Westsider says Hannah and Auburn may be in Seattle September before California. I heard this. Not only that, I think they're coming down the coast, so I may get a hold of all of them on their way down into LA. So stay tuned. You might see all of us at the same time at some point. Yeah, thank you, folks. I appreciate that. Oh man, Dave, that's David can't even believe how good the prices are. He says $111 before fees. Maybe they could be monster fees. It might be $50 for like to have a seat. But still, that's pretty.
I don't know.
It sounds pretty good, Dave. Like it.
Sounds pretty good, Dave.
I think you might be up to 6% now, my friend. We'll see. I like it. Dave, I haven't met. It would be a David reunion would be good too. Like that we a union of the Davies and Davids. Like
Davy Daves.
Yeah. Dave says, yeah. I mean, okay. Well, we got that. That's pretty good. We'll roll with it. But Taryn, yeah, thank you again. Send my best to Sketch, of course. We saw Sketch earlier. And mods, can we do the ! guest command once more, just in case you have not already been following Taryn Seattle? If we go follow Taryn Hadfield on Twitch, the link will show up in the chat momentarily. And best wishes to you as you continue your projects and your streaming. And next week sounds cool too. I mean, any parting comments before we find someone to raid tonight?
No, just thanks for having me. Thanks for hanging out, guys. For friends of mine in the stream, you guys are probably wondering like, oh, is Taryn gonna stream after? Well, we passed the point of no return, and I feel like it is a little bit late to start. And I'd feel bad just playing a very short amount of time. So I'm going to say no. And I'll see you guys Thursday.
Cool.
So.
In that case, folks, the link's right there. We can catch Taryn on Thursday night doing the thing. But if you want to follow Taryn in other places, you can also find Taryn.Hadfield on Instagram. Are there other like socials that you have and other places we can find you?
TikTok now. I do that more often. So I'm trying to do that once a week. Folksy, thanks for the bits.
Thank you, Folksy.
Hell yeah.
That's so nice of you.
So yeah, so TikTok, and then Instagram, and then YouTube.
Okay.
Trying to do more on there, ish.
TikTok
When I
sounds
can.
TikTok sounds dope. I'll go look for you on
Yeah.
TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Albatross! Holy cow!
Oh,
Whoa!
Albatross.
Thank you for your 500, folks.
Getting
Thank you
that
for
sandwich at 40%.
what in the world? Oh my goodness,
Almost halfway.
it's getting there.
It's getting there.
Yeah, and folksy, thank you for your kind words too. Nice to finally see you stream, Dave. Nice to see you in stream too, folksy. Thank you for 500 biddies. Is there anybody else? Oh my gosh, I have a hype train.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
Moses.
Look at all this.
Oh my goodness.
Hype train.
Y'all.
Don't stop now.
Y'all. Yeah, just like in music streams, we keep the train moving once we have the hype train.
Show must go on.
Thank you so much, everybody. Holy crap, you all have been so kind. Now, is there anyone else I'm saying? Oh, Albatross with 500. Tina French with the gift sub to Albatross 21. Thank you so much, Tina. Well, what we do on the hype train, we have some trivia for you. I don't know if you've ever done if you do trivia nights. But
I love trivia. I'm really bad at it, but I have a lot of fun.
This will be fun. This will be fun for real. Let's give you some trivia about. Let me see if I got here. I got lots of categories. Let's settle for. If I can find it. Where is it? There should be Seattle trivia in here somewhere. I think. Looking for it. Maybe. Oh, okay. I think I got it. Yeah, there we go. Cool. All right, let's go over here. Okay, so yeah, Seattle trivia. Basically, this is trivia about the city of Seattle, your current place of residence, and there are 10 questions. And no, actually, yeah, let's roll with that. That's fine. Yeah, we'll go 10 questions. If you get the question right, you get a point. If you do not get the question right, the chat gets a point. So chat, feel free to answer. But Taryn, I would ask to recuse yourself from the chat during the segment.
Okay.
All right, Jordy, what's going on? Welcome in. Yes, it's trivia time. Let's do the thing. All right, here we go. Good luck, Taryn. Here we go. Oh, I was loud. Okay. Question number 1. In what year was Starbucks founded?
Oh God, I should know this.
Tough one.
1991.
Wow. Oh, wow. No. Wrong button. Oh, sorry. Wrong button. No, it was You got the one right. 1971. 1971.
Is that early? God.
Yeah. It's been around for a long time. It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. All right, here comes the next question. What is the most well-known item thrown around at Pike Place Market?
Fish.
It's a fish. You got it. That's 1 point for Taryn. Nicely done.
Right.
Okay, here's a true or false question. The first street to be labeled Skid Row was in Seattle. True or false?
False.
It's true. It is.
No.
How about that? Can you believe it?
Rude. Okay.
All right, here comes the next question. Question number 4. The keyword here is band. What is the best-selling band of the 70s? What was the best-selling band of the 70s in Seattle? Or from
In
Seattle?
the 70s?
From the 70s.
Band.
Yeah.
Oh. 70s. Heart?
You're correct. It is hard.
Oh.
Boom.
Oh, that was a good guess.
Great guess. All right, next question. What is the best-selling band of the 90s to come from Seattle?
I would guess Nirvana, but that's just... Yes?
Do you have a...
No?
No. Think of another band from Seattle, though. Think of another...
Foo Fighters? Pearl Jam?
Pearl Jam would have been it, yeah.
Oh, it was... Oh, that was my third choice.
Nirvana's a really good guess, though, because I think a lot of people, including myself, would have guessed that. So, very good guess.
Totally. It's like the first thing... I feel like that's the rule of trivia. You can't always trust the first thing that comes to mind. It's always going to be a little bit of some questioning.
Yeah. And Tina, thank you for your gift sub to Steam and Friend as well. All right. Yeah, great guesses. Tina and Albatross got that question correct. And Albatross got the heart question correct earlier. So let's continue.
Nice.
That is 5 questions in. Here's number 6. What's the name of the Cheers sitcom spinoff that was set in Seattle? It's a spinoff of Cheers.
Frasier.
You got it. Dr. Frasier Crane. You nailed it. Boom.
So good.
Love it. Yeah, it was a great show. Great show. Let me see. Next question. Okay. Let me see. I thought I had one more. Oh, here we go. Which 4 Twitch performers did a concert of originals in Seattle back in 2021? 4 Twitch partner streamers met together and did a concert of original songs in Seattle. This is tough.
Oh, before I moved there.
Mhm.
Damn it. I would guess like Emily McVicker's probably one.
Okay.
And this is a 4-part question. Emily McVicker. Trying to think of other people. Well, I guess it doesn't mean they're necessarily from Seattle, though. It could just mean they met in Seattle. So maybe like.
Right. You're on the right track
Like
here.
a Nell.
You got one.
Oh! Raquel?
You got 2.
Okay. Okay, so it's a bunch of popular people. All right. Okay, and Sashi?
Not Sashi, but
Damn it.
you got 2. You still have 2 more you can get though. Like so.
Okay, there's still 2 more I could get.
I'll give you a hint. You mentioned one of them during the stream.
Wait, Natalie Page?
I did
No.
mention partner streamer. So no.
Partner streamer. Oh.
And we also were talking about they're
Willow
not.
Stevens? No, she's not partnered yet. Megan Lanius.
Yes, Megan Linnaeus. Okay, so you're down
Okay.
to 1 more to
There's
go.
so many great questions.
You did really good getting 3
and
though. This is really good. This is really, really good.
and okay. Trying to think of who else would be really popular who would come out here.
I like the guess of Mandy Prater. Mandy's not one of the guesses, but a really good guess. Really good guess.
I feel like I wonder if there's like a guy, maybe. Oh, what's that one really popular guy who like wrote a song with Beyonce or something? Matt. Matt something. I don't know. I
Matt
give up.
something. Okay. It is not Matt something.
Okay.
I can give you one more guess. So,
Oh.
but you got either way, you got 3 for sure. Let's see if you can get the 4th one.
Okay. So not Matt. And now me. Danny Allard?
Oh, Danny would have been phenomenal. That Danielle Allard. No, it's not. Danny did not make the trip to Seattle. I do love the guess.
Sad.
I know. That would have been pretty fire.
That'd be really
Not gonna lie.
That'd
But
be really cool.
Yeah.
Voice unmuted?
another great guess. These are great guesses. These are fantastic guesses. Tina says Irene, a pretty solid guess because Irene is obviously really big on music, right? No, it is not Irene. It is not. Sarah Mahoney is a good guess. Not the choice. I shouldn't have said the word partner. This is kind of that just made the question weird, but but
That's okay. I'm blanking. Oh, what's her one name? No, she's Colleen Dauncey. Any of them?
Colleen. Now that would have made a lot of sense, right? Because like Colleen eventually made the trip to TwitchCon, even lived in LA for a bit, lived in Georgia, now she lives in Victoria. No, not Colleen, but that
Sad.
they should have been there, right? Like all these people should have been part of it, but there is a correct guess in the chat. Well, sort of, mostly a correct guess, but slight spelling semantics, but otherwise a correct guess, yeah.
Oh, dang it. I'm not in the chat, but I will officially throw in the towel.
That's all right. No worries, no worries. So let me just tell you the ones you got right, which is really good. I'm gonna give
Okay.
you a point anyway, because like that's
Okay.
really good. So Raquel,
Up to like 10 guesses.
but you got 3. Like that's really good.
True.
And I think you got the first 3 within like 4 guesses.
Yeah.
So Raquel, yes. Anel Stahl, yes. Megan Linnaeus, yes. The fourth one was Carmela, who was
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. I don't know why I was not thinking of Carmela.
yeah, and that was a quite a fight. You know, it was pretty cool. Like it was a really cool event. I wish I could have been there. I don't think they streamed it, but that all happened in Seattle back in 2021. Tina says, "Woo, I win! You got it, Tina. You got it. Fantastic, Tina. Great stuff." Okay, now you are just putting together a lineup for a festival. Taryn Fest 2024. Let's go.
Taryn Fest, Taryn Con.
Let's go. Taryn Con would be amazing. The farm I mod farm has a goat named Caramello. Oh, not Caramello? That sounds tasty. Have you ever had the Caramello, like the candy? Like it's really good. It's like chocolate with caramel
Yes.
inside. It's really good.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
All right, so where are we? We have 3 questions left. Okay. Okay. Can you name 2 current Seattle sports teams and one formerly in Seattle sports team that's now in a different, like one former Seattle sports team, meaning they moved out of Seattle, they went to a different city.
Okay, so 2 current,
Mhm.
1 former.
Mhm.
So 2 current Seattle Mariners.
Yeah.
And the Seattle Seahawks.
Yep. Got the 2.
Okay,
All right.
there you go. And then the one that used to be, God, I don't know. Seattle Sounders?
I think the Sounders are still there. I'm not sure.
Supersonics?
It's the Supersonics.
Oh, is
Supersonics.
it?
It's the the Sonics moved out and now they're in Oklahoma City. And
Oh,
how about that? Let's give it up for Taryn.
how
on
about
one.
that? And I'm not a sports person.
Yeah, and West
That is
Siders.
good.
That is pretty dang clutch. For real. Yeah. Tina says, what a great name. It was. It's annoying that
great
they
name.
moved. That was a great franchise.
Oklahoma Supersonics does not make sense.
Well, no, they changed their name too. They changed their name to the Thunder, which is even stupider. Like,
Oh, that's even worse.
it really is. It really is.
Not as cool.
Yeah, and West Sider's right. Seattle Pilots is also a former Seattle team. They would have been. They are now the Milwaukee Brewers. So they used to play. They played for like 1 year in Seattle.
Fascinating.
Yeah, for real. Okay, we got 2 questions left, right? Okay, so let's see. You mentioned Nirvana. Who is Nirvana's lead singer?
Kurt Cobain.
That was easy peasy, easy peasy.
It's too easy.
That was very easy. It's really, really easy. What is the nickname for Seattle's airport?
SeaTac?
It's SeaTac. Got it.
Oh, okay.
Just like that. There you go.
There we go.
Fantastic. Fantastic. 7 out of 10. Let's go. Give it up.
7 out of 10.
Give it up for Taryn.
Only 40 guesses.
Well, most of them were the one question, though. To be fair. Like,
to be fair, yes.
yeah. King says, well, you know, Oklahoma's in Tornado Alley, thunderstorms, etc., etc. Yeah, but still.
Fair.
It could have been better.
Still mad about it. Fun fact, I was born in Oklahoma, so
Oh,
I
no
have
kidding.
just extra hate for Oklahoma.
That's
No offense to
so
anyone who
fair.
lives there, though.
So fair. I love it. Albatross is grading on a curve. Thank you for the hype, Jordy and Tina. By the way, good to see you, Jordy, tonight. Taryn, that was great. That was really great. Fantastic
Sweet.
stuff. So once again, thank you so much for the hype, everybody. Let me repeat all the thank yous. Tina for the gift sub to Anthony Castillo Music, and another one to Albatross21. Folksy with 500 bits. Albatross with 500 bits too. And if there's anything I missed, I hope not. But y'all, I appreciate it. We made it through level 1. That's awesome. Thank you, everybody. And
Awesome.
the sandwich goal is now up to 8283. 41% done. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Keep track of that, folks. All right. Well, Taryn, this really has been fun. Thank you so much for hanging out. I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I appreciate the Borks in the chat too. Well, always good to have a little Bork in our lives, isn't it? So I think what we should do, first of all, thank you very much to the mods, Tina and King. It was really good to see you tonight. Big time shouts to both. Big time. Show some mod love in the chat, everybody. It was really great to see you all here tonight. Let's go look. And thank you again to everybody for hanging out. Taryn, thank you for being part of this. This is really fun tonight. I do appreciate you being here. And
super fun.
For real. Thank you. And best wishes on all your music projects and your streams and everything else going on in the near future for you.
Hello. Best wishes on the sandwich stand. I have high hopes.
Thank you.
And for TwitchCon. And for all streaming things.
No, thank you. Thank you.
You're good.
You're very kind. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll if we get if we can get to that goal, we'll put things together. Over here, we're gonna have some fun things happening too. Join us throughout the rest of the week. Much fun planned, including a 100 chicken McNugget challenge, which is gonna be wild.
Oh my god.
No, it's gonna be.
That hurts my stomach.
I don't think any of us are gonna be ready for that, but we're gonna make it happen anyway. So we'll see. So thank you. Oh, thank you, Westsider. Thank you, folks, in Digitized Dave. Autographs post show. Sure. Why not? Let's do it. All right, let's go find someone to raid. Let us go see. I was thinking Seattle was kind of like the direction, but
yeah.
Well, let's see who's out there.
Yeah. What do we got?
Let us see. Checking, refreshing. Could also...
Oh, Justin and Evelyn are live.
There you go. Boom.
There we go.
Our pals Justin and
That's
Evelyn.
An easy win.
I'm with it. Can we play along with McNugget Challenge? Absolutely, Albatross. Holy cow. Let's go. You are in. Congratulations, Albatross. You may absolutely participate with us. But remember, don't hesitate to stop if you feel like you're uncomfortable. That's a lot of McNuggets. That's a lot of nuggets. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'll ask you for a friend.
Makes me nervous. Nervous for you guys. Whew.
I know. So let's go raid. Thank you so much again. We're gonna go hang out with Justin and Evelyn. Give our friends a follow when we get there, everybody. It should be a fun time. It looks like it says Ev's solo stream, but I do see Justin there too. So maybe we can sneak in and catch them together. It should be fun. So y'all, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your night. Copy the raid calls. Y'all are the best. Let's start in the raid. And yeah, if you missed any part of our show, this is a particularly important announcement tonight because I know that the front end of the stream was we had some network issues, but the entire show is in full quality and there will be no network issue. There will be no video quality issues on the YouTube bot. So definitely check out our YouTube page. Same handle, Davey's Eating a Sandwich, and we'll have that for you tomorrow. So but we have it here on Twitch too, so you can catch up with us as well. Most of the stream is actually fine. It was just the first 20 minutes that was having problems with the video. So thanks everybody. Thank you, Taryn. Have a great rest of your night. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Did you finish your rap, by the way?
I did finish my rap,
nice.
And it was pretty solid.
Nice.
It was pretty good.
Big
yeah.
Props to Sketch for getting that together.
Props to Sketch, Chef Sketch.
For real.
10 out of 10.
Dig it. Tina, thank you so much as well for hanging out. Let's go say hi to Justin Neville. Give him a follow when you get there, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Bye. Take care, everyone. We'll see you we'll see. Wait, what is today's Tuesday? Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. I'm sorry. And we'll see Taryn on Thursday, hopefully. Thank you, Jamie.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Jamie. Take care, my friends.
The longest wave.
I know, the longest wave. All right, catch you at Justin Neville. Bye, everybody.